мы имеем подиум в 10 секундах от нас, 13 первое место. Нравится.
Country that just the next village over is just full of savages.
Oh yeah, savages, a lot of them. Fiends and scoundrels, absolutely all of them. There is a defensive line there on the inside by the Kiwi car there, the Medicus Kiwi Racing Green. And that would be a slowdown through the Rio Cordamont. And as such, drops behind the Simrix.com DPR car, which has done really well to get back on the leading lap.
Not only on the leading lap, but they're making progress as well. So Philip Worley back in the car, he's been relatively quick throughout the event. He's been very, very consistent. We've known and watched Philip for a long time. We know that he is very, very consistent in his driving. Actually did the opening stint of the race and was very smooth. So has been a little while since he's been in lap 120 the last time he was in the car. So that's about 170 laps ago, but the car's still in one piece, looking very clean as well. So fingers crossed for them, they can continue on.
Yeah, and they'll hope to try and charge up forward in that Simrace.com DPR. BMW the choice of car, and one of the things that does make that BMW choice of car is just the fact that it's got pure grunt on this very long straight. This is a high-speed circuit.
Yeah, the consensus that we heard from drivers that were contemplating which GT to run was the BMW is probably not necessarily the best in regards to one-lap pace or outright pace, but over a stint, it does everything really well. So it's really good on top speed. It's not the best in top speed, but it does a really good job. It handles the corners very well. It's not the best, but it does a very good job. So if you were to mark all of the different aspects, it would give you the highest score as an overall outright car. So that's why a lot of teams are going for it. The Ferrari is probably the best in regards to actual pace, but it is a lot more difficult to drive, which is why when you head off and go into top split, you'll see a very, very different mix of cars. But here, second split, the car of choice, definitely the BMW, because it is the best all-rounder by a fair margin.
By a very fair margin. Second and, third and fourth, I should say, all at the moment in LMP2's Bright Esports and Daniel Holmer, who is behind the wheel. Now, Daniel Holmer has been behind that wheel for a very, very long time as we've come through. He's had for help. Jesper Eriksson has been there. Daniel Blomqvist has also been in the car too. So those three have been working hard, and Bright Esports are looking to have a shining star run to move up to third, but they've got to get past the Dane of Nikolai Luft for position.
Luft's been very, very good since he got in the car as well. So he got in just the pit stop before the safety car, but he did a fairly long stint through the early morning and the sunset segments of the race. So he's done a fair few laps in this car, has Loft. Been very, very consistent. Best flying lap since the safety car period, and crosses the line and does a relatively good lap time. I mean, a little bit off the pace from the guys in front, but he did have a lot more traffic to deal with than those guys ahead. So, well, you see, he was not too far behind first and second. So was the Bright Esports car. They were all very, very close, but just that little bit of traffic. A little bit more traffic, I should say, than the lead two cars.
Что-то впереди чел едет, наверное, 35 средние. Походу. Потому что я пока его темп не уважаю, еще вкатываюсь.
Because that is going to be between those three at the moment. The single moms looking to win, with Hassan Yildirim doing a 356, a better 356 from Mika Geritscher for Project Dynamic Academy, and then Florian Renault also a 356.5 for Delta B Racing. I'm going to say this very, very quietly out there. This GT battle actually could go a number of ways in terms of the way that they strat it out as we look forward through that car is the lap down. And there is 395 Delta B Racing. Florian Renault is looking for a really, really good run out here in that 395 machine, Jake, and has had the help of Emeric Padrines, Gilles Bruchet, and Johan Martin Meyer.
Have a look at that there. battle for first in GT3. There's 8 cars, and what's that gap? Is that 15 seconds between those 8 cars? 15 seconds with 3.5 hours to go. That's a very, very small mark. I can actually just do this. That, and it will tell us the gap. There you go, 14.7 seconds.
You're good. You're good. That's what I'll get out of that. Yeah, 15 seconds between the top 8 in class in GT. That is pretty much everything that you want and then some. And it might come down to who's playing the game the best. 15 seconds will still definitely pull back in a race like this. And you might have to be clever. There might be one team out there who decides, you know, if they want to be brave, let's go and short fill a stint and then work a long stint to finish. Get the track position.
I think at this stage you're probably not sure where you want to do that short stop because, I mean, anything can happen and change.
No more safety cars.
Yeah, true.
У меня проблема, мне до топлива не будет хватать на один круг.
Одного факта.
Тут, но не в курсе.
До конца гонки меньше 4,5 часов или 3,5. Да?
До конца гонки 3 часа 37 минут.
Да, а нам до первого места 15 секунд.
And then you're closing ground. So like these two here, if they could work together over the next 5 laps, they'll close down to that Mach 1 car and more, which will close that gap down. So not necessarily.
Да, но тут люди не 2К мусора,
Finding a buddy that you can work with over the next hour and a half, 2 hours.
Которых можно догонять на кривой машине.
Something funky with ultimate strategies.
Can I talk livery for a second here, Jay? There's only one problem with having a white liveried car is that you see all the build-up of marbles and rubber drop-off that's there on the front. That's the reason why I wouldn't have a white car in a sim race.
I mean, I love it because it shows that they've been out there for a long time and racing hard, and it looks incredibly dirty. But yeah, the same aspect. Well, one thing that's cool, we go to that car there, and then we go to another white car.
Отваливаюсь я потихоньку от 5-го, блин.
Between that car and the 51. 51 looks like it's just come out of the showroom.
That's because it has. That's the beta Frost team.
Very good point.
Morten Bergman behind the wheel, and they are, in comparison to the leaders, about 37 laps down.
Yep, they're 37 laps down in regards to class. They are 65 laps down in regards to outright position. They are 8 laps away from gaining an outright position. They are 23 laps away from gaining a class position. The only downfall to that 23 laps is that the car that they're trying to catch is still out on track. So we've got a lot of work to do, but if they continue to lap, I've got no doubt that someone will have a DNF. But yeah, the white there looks a lot cleaner than the white on the bonnet of the Philip Worley Simrigs.com DPR car.
The car they're trying to chase is the 83 Blocco Motore car. Eric Van Spijker is behind the wheel of that.
He's actually behind him.
Yeah, exactly. And also who's been in that car has been Tobias Markart. Stevie Amantides has been in there. So too Thomas Cox and Adam Day. So they've both been looking to try and push and really get something going out of it. They find themselves a lap down on the Valkyrie X Spike machine at this point. And there is Penguin RC Simulation
just received that penalty.
And they just have got the penalty, and it's only now come through. So that will take them out of contention then, and that will hurt because that's taken them a good hour and a half to receive that penalty and go through. And when you've got 10 splits worth of penalties that are coming through, there is a lot of work that goes through in that race control.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can see the work that they're doing in the race control area, but there are a lot of people working very, very hard in the background trying to get the race control stuff sorted. I think there's 8 people incidents. Obviously, with that too, there's correspondence with different drivers.
А кто это такой?
Like that too, so they're going in, asking drivers
Не из лидеров. Хотя, да, сейчас. Это же дает, походу, тому, кто команду создавал.
Пилоту.
Да, ну кто команду создавал.
Massive shout out to the majors. They've done an incredible job in getting this event up. We've said it a few times already. by a fair margin, this is the biggest event in iRacing hosted series ever. But there's no comparison to any other hosted event that I can think of that's come close to this. There's been bigger events that have been run officially by iRacing, but nothing that's been done by the community themselves.
No, I think that is very, very telling in terms of what they want and what they want to try and go for this series. Nikolai Loft, though, still in that battle with Daniel Holmer. This is a big positional battle out there. Bright Esports, out Zen Motorsports. These two have been battling all day long, and they are looking at this thinking this is for a P3, and it's getting dicey behind them as well, because Tony Asumanyemi nearly had the Valkyrie Excite car trying to get into play. And look at the lights flashing from Felix Ferrer.
Ты, Ярик, 3 едешь, да?
Да.
It's costing him.
Ну посмотри, может есть вариант какой-нибудь, можно поменяться, чтобы было 4, потом ты 3 там или 4 подряд. Можем сделать так, чтобы было проще. Как вот тебе лучше, скажи?
Ну, мне типа подходит даже как сейчас. Если тебя это устраивает, то...
Ну, я не знаю. Посмотри, как думаешь?
Просто все поровну проедем.
Так я предлагаю перераспределить, просто чтобы последний мой стинт... А, там 2... Нет, там не 2, там 1. Типа я проеду 4. Нет, там 1 не считай, 1 будет лишний. Это я чисто брал, чтобы посчитать. Ты не прав. Посмотри внимательно end time.
16:36 финиш, да? А у нас, по идее,
Финиш 16:15. Максимум 16:15 финиш. О, Николай Лофт почему-то подотстал. 4-й уехал на пит. 5-й 3,7 чуть-чуть сократил отставание от него. Он уперся.
Ну, ты хочешь типа 4 и...
Чтобы дальше ты заканчивал до упора.
Давай лучше Т2, потом сажусь я, и ты заканчиваешь.
Думаешь?
Ну,
Мне просто, понимаешь, мне комфортно, когда я еду 3-й, я в 3-й уже вкатан максимально, понимаешь? Я с этой точки зрения.
Что надо, если вкатан, надо сидеть на трассе.
Но я посмотрю по ситуации, если что, я готов 4 ехать.
Да, просто в конце, возможно, надо будет бороться, а с меня такой след.
Лучше будешь бороться, чем если
Не, ну я тоже могу, но типа...
Ну, то есть ты хочешь 4 ехать?
Если ты можешь, то можешь.
Да. Я думаю, что да. Ну, посмотрим, если что, я скажу, ну, типа... И мы заранее договоримся в этом плане. Кондер себе включу, пока то я потею уже.
Я просто думаю, если Ярик сейчас темпом накатит и кого-то обгонит, то ты точно сможешь удержать. Но вот дотянуться не факт, что ты сможешь. Это про Назара сейчас.
Oh, it's just been a change of position out on track, and that would be why into the pits then the Penguin RC simulation car is in to serve the penalty.
No surprise at that point. Serve me up. So in they come. Is this a stop and hold or is it a drive-through? I'm not 100% sure. One thing I just noticed is, yeah, stop and hold. One thing I just noticed as well is under that last safety car, this car here, the high caliber motorsports car, did something a little bit sneaky. They came in and pitted a lap before the safety car was called. They came back in and did another stop to get themselves on the same cycle as everyone else. Very, very clever. They were stopped for 7 seconds to just splash in some fuel and go again. Very, very smart. It's got them in the third in class now. And it's got them in a position where they may be able to steal
Хуя себе топ-3 в 4 секундах, бля.
steal a win with how much bad luck the leader of the LMP or the LMDH class has had. I nearly did what you did, Sperry. I nearly called them LMP1. Now, you've got to go very soon, so we need to talk cricket because you and I are both cricket nuts. We've got 5 minutes before we have to leave.
О, сейчас slowdown поймал, прикол.
America or France or wherever you're watching, they'll have no idea what we're talking about. We're talking about tribalistic rivalry between Australia and England. Obviously, me being Australian, you being English. It's us versus the mother country and us trying to say that we're better than you.
Yes, and we fight for a very
Я бы
smallest
Ярика
trophy, I
отскочил на
think,
20
in the
минут.
world. It's about
Давай, у меня еще времени там куча, отходи.
that small trophy. It's quite
It's like
funny, actually.
11 centimeters tall.
Yes, and you get all this build-up to lifting up this tiny little urn, and it's like you have to squint to see it, and if you're in the crowd, you definitely don't see it at all. But in terms of what you're looking for a result, what I think the Ashes
Yes,
is
I
going to
want
be.
to know what you think it's going to be. I want it recorded on stream so that we get your idea, and then I'll give you my thoughts as well.
Look, the way that England's playing cricket at the moment, they are not going to have a single draw unless it rains. So I reckon that one test will be lost to rain. So I think that will bring it through. I think it will be 2-2 and Australia retain the Ashes.
All right. I actually think it will be same. I think there will be one match that will not get a result due to rain, but I agree that the way that England is playing the game, that they will ensure that there's a result when the weather doesn't intervene. But I think it will be 3-1 Australia in the 5-game series with that one game washed out. Potentially could be 2 washed out, but the deciding factor for me around Australia is who Australia pick as the third fast bowling option. So, I'm hopeful that we are intelligent enough to pick the right team for the conditions and not the team that is necessarily the best in regards to previous form.
Jay, just to marry this back up to iRacing, at what point do you hope to see rain?
For races like this, I hope that we see it very, very soon in regards to standard everyday racing. The one feature that everyone says, yes, we want it really bad, and then we get it, and nobody wants to drive it anymore. So I really want it. I think it'd be great for the endurance racing, and great for 24-hour events, for 12-hour events, even 6-hour events. But for likes of us doing the iRacing Grand Prix World Tour on a weekend, Friday night for you, Saturday morning for me, I don't know that will be an amazing addition for those sort of series, for the iRacing official series, for small sprint races, for smaller leagues. I don't think it's going to be amazing, but for the big events like this, it's going to be brilliant. Bring it on. Hopefully it's not too far away. I'm thinking that we will see it in the
There goes Project Dynamic Academy and the Simrix.com DPR car. Bang, the 979 into the tyres then at the second chicane, and they're making such good progress. That was for third position on the road, and Mika Gerich then, and I believe there in the Simrix.com DPR car, Philip Worley, just like that. Bosh.
Wow.
You cut that corner and got a slow down penalty.
Get a bit of spatial awareness there. I think Worley may have thought that the Project Dynamic car was going to just back out of it a little bit. Project Dynamic car probably thought there was going to be a little bit more room given, and neither of them got that right, and around go both of them. I have very little doubt that race control will be sent a protest, but on my first 2 looks there, I think that's not going to really be anything coming of that. That's both cars racing hard, and neither of them wanted to give an inch.
And that absolutely puts pay dirt to their charge. As you can see, alongside. There, you have to leave the room if you're there on the outside trying to go through. That is not ideal in terms of their scenario. But Jay, on that bombshell, I think it's time for me to head off towards split 1 and leave you in the capable hands of that incident.
Yeah, that's really changed it. Thank you for jumping in and joining me, Sperry, and thank you to Ryan who jumped in before and has had to go. Good luck to you and the team over at GSRC for finishing off that race in split number 1. And for the meanwhile, I'll
You got a
fly
slow car on the
solo
left.
for a while,
Car
but,
stopped ahead.
I'll hopefully have some
Go
special
left.
guests coming in to have a chat throughout the next little
Это третий был.
they're going through is the Not In Vain Racing. Still by far.
Красиво он запарковался, я так скажу.
Performance of this event so far.
Мне в пит через 2 круга, а этот следующий. Топлива не хватит, потому что половины бака, типа, чем полкруга не хватает.
У всех такая ситуация из-за сейфтикара будет, не переживай.
About 5.5 hours they got into the race leaders. There's been another issue. This is the Bright Esports car now.
Мне кажется, что многие на этом круге поедут, Илюх. А у нас на 1 круг больше, потому что мы заехали самыми последними, не? Или за нами заезжали?
Ярик, не знаю, это не важно, похуй. Думаю, что у всех одинаково примерно топливо. А этот чувак, кстати, сам заспинился абсолютно сам по себе. Перетормозил. Задний баланс подвел его.
A little bit too much on the brakes, and I tell you what, I'm glad for his sake that he lit up the tyres there, because if he didn't, he would have had some damage.
Так, я на следующем.
To his rear axle. He's on unscathed. For second and third in the LMDH class. BRT high caliber auto sports now nose tail.
The car in front of you is the position. Go get him. You're back in fifth.
He's going to take that position away in the field here. Second place, they stay side by side, and there's contact between both of them. Oh, and there's secondary contact there. Now basically gets contact from the 713 who was just involved in that previous incident. This race is just absolutely crazy.
Пока не вижу.
BRT car now has a mechanical black flag. Hey, maybe race done.
Остановился, ебать.
Parked the car.
Сейчас Коля плачет.
Now, this could be race over for that car. Wow, wait, this has just turned all sorts of controversial in moments. That would definitely be looked at by race control, you'd feel, and this is what's caused the mechanical black flag. The 713 car comes in absolutely nowhere to go. Now limping their car back around to get damage fixed as well, so...
Тотал?
Да. Они тоже.
Прикол. Это жопа.
Мы с Назаром про это и говорили, что вот этот сейфтикар будет, если он будет, то он будет самый сложный, потому что все. Крышу сносит. Там даже обида в том, что его круговой въебал. Бля, еще и Оля за рулем на ебаном пальто.
Это Оля был?
Да. Ну это...
Блин.
Короче, они заборолись с чуваком. Они заборолись с чуваком, их развернуло, да. И в этот момент GT3 ехала сзади и просто Оля в еблет заехала. Причем, ну, я бы на его месте объехал такую аварию легко на этом GT3, но он дурак. Он зачем-то решил продолжить по дороге, когда надо было просто срезать шикану и все.
Так, мы в питы, бокс настроен, правда? Все окей.
Пиздец. Назар, у тебя готов?
А в смысле Назар, зачем?
А, вы не меняете, да? Окей, окей.
Не, я только первый еду.
Понял, понял. Пит настроен. Пойду посмотрю слезы мужчины. БРД трансляцию.
And confirm that the 713 and 979 incident we saw at Mulsanne chicane number 2 is under review from race control. We will definitely see something from that in a little while. With information, we will bring that to you. Yeah, 39 though.
Left side.
Basically.
Clear on the left.
Они не заехали.
Now in the
Pit
lane,
box in
after
10.
towing from that damage, they could not bring the car back to the pits.
5,
Leaves us with only 29
2,
cars
1.
on track
Right here.
at this point. So the field's starting to drop.
Илюха,
Started with
Илюха,
54 and now
Илюха.
down to 29. We've lost half of our field.
Они не заехали.
Ну, у них, значит, на круг хватает еще, да похуй.
Да.
Абсолютно. Нам главное, чтобы нам по тактике хватало до конца и все. Я пока отошел.
The drivers
Давай,
coming in for their scheduled
Давай,
stops
давай.
in the lmp2 class. The 31 Rock Graphics car is in. Also, not long ago, saw the 712 LMDH come in to get their 29th pit stop completed. They've done the least number of pit stops in all of our prototype classes, both LMDH and lmp2. This car here, the Project Dynamic, the sister car of the car we just saw involved in that incident before. Both of those incidents, I should say. So Project Dynamic actually had 3 or 4 cars in this field. And, 2 in our LMP2 class, 1 in LMDH, and also 1 GT3. Great to see the Project Dynamic Academy Project Dynamic cars out on track in this event. While Sperry was here as well, was just doing a little bit of looking through the stats in that time, lap counts, and the Willig car, Fred Illig, and there was another driver that have both done the most laps in the field.
Так, все, ребятки, я поехал на работу, давайте, так, доезжайте, довозите, я
Давай.
буду дистанционно следить.
Давай, удачи.
Стрим оставляю, надеюсь, я его выпустить смогу, а то он будет ебашить.
Да, пофигу,
До
давай.
вечера. Давайте.
Fred Illig is now at 138 laps run by himself in this race, so we'll no doubt clock up probably the 160 odd laps. So looking at around about 420 plus laps for the race distance as well. So very, very long in regards to distance. Now GT3 field. And Yildirim still leading the way after in some pit stops and the like. Remember, we also saw issues for a few cars in this class too. Currently got a 4.5 second lead over the WV racing car, which on the same strategy cycle. Philip Wall with a 979. We'll see him in the pits probably at the end of this lap. 2 reasons: 1, potentially to get damage fixed, and 2, that is the end of their pit cycle. So this is the end of their 13th lap on this stint. And comes Philip Wally to complete pit stop. Will be their 27 in this race. One of the higher numbers, actually it is the highest number in the GT3 class. So they've done more pit stops than anyone else in the field in this class. Closest battle on track in this class as well. This is between Lee Vandenberg from Mac 1 Esports, Cody Matheson in the Aventus Racing entry, 28 and 46. We've seen these two battle it out earlier in the event, around hours 2 and 3. These guys were going at it, and now still racing hard at this point of the event. Got the 710 Project Dynamic and the Outston Motorsport 36 into the pits. 710 having a driver change, Luca Becker back into that car, and Nicola staying in 6. Actually, they're not in the pits at this stage, so that little error. 3 hours and 15 left on the clock with Majors 24. Plenty of action to come this race.
32.75.
You got a slow car on the right. Right side.
Drama
Clear on the
as
right.
well as the the strategy
Car on your
starts to
left.
unfold.
Clear on the left.
Now,
You cut that corner and got a slow down penalty.
my thinking would be as a strategist, you don't want to start to rush into the race too early. You don't want to go back and try and work
The lead
out
is
strategy
pitting now.
and have something out of your control change it. So we'll see if that's the case. Into the pits also comes a Willie car when Tuffy gets back in, and Peter Houston getting in the Hydro Race Geodesic car, who first car one lap down in class is just off the track. There goes the Rocket Graphics car. Hold on. Hopefully. That was a little bit messy on their exit. Exit out of the pits. Now, pits, in comes the lead racing, the lead car of the race. Not in vain Racing Orange, now in for their 33rd pit stop of the event. Slow motion racing also now in. ST Racing also have come in, so into their 11 lap stint in the class. Of course, Paul Green on the safety car period around about 12 odd laps ago.
You cut that corner and got a slow down penalty.
Cycle back in for the next round of pit stops. Calibre Esports now in as well. The only car that will be out of sequence within the leaders of this class is this car here, the 66. Remembering they pitted 4 laps ago. Served that black flag. Probably a little bit too far back to use it to their advantage in regards to gaining time back, but end up as bad off timing works out for them. You get away with one less pit stop come the end of the event. The RT car has just gone a little bit further down in the order after going time. Stuck in the pit lane. I don't know whether we'll see that car come back out at this stage. Fingers crossed we do. Racing Orange is back out though. Their pit stop. Canada Esports now coming in for their their pit stop. This is going to be a long 3 hours. We'll have more guests come in for that. Stu Brown, who were with us for the very, very early stage of the race, he was going to join us for this this middle phase or the late phase. But you may remember that he had a very, very croaky voice at the point of the race that he was in the booth, and he also is racing in this event, running split 5 from memory. He unfortunately has woken up from his little snooze. The voice is completely gone, so we won't have Stu join us unfortunately, but yeah, we have got some more guests lined up to come throughout the rest of the event.
That car is a lap down.
Is not a spot. 38.41.
Coming for their pit stops. Something has happened to this car, which
They say you cut the cord. You'll have to slow down and give up the time game.
Oh, that's a big slide. That's a big moment. That is the wall. There's a mechanical black flag, and that could be race done for this car. That is heavy damage. They may be day done as well, so that will leave us with 5 cars running in the LMP2 class. On screen is still battle for third in GT3, F1 Esports and Aventus Racing. Had it for quite a long time. See if that does close up over the next little while. So they can work together and close that gap down ahead. They've got about 5 seconds to catch up to Delta V Racing. I said earlier, finding someone to work with may be more important than outright pace. See that is the case. Good news as well, just coming out of the pits here. Surprising to see, but great to see. The RT car of Benel is back out on track. So they've dropped back to 5th in the pits for 12.5 minutes, but they are back out on track. Very, very good news. So we're down to 5. We're back up to 6. So very good news for the entire field to see another car back out on track. Vandenberg trying to hold on to the spot for Mach 1 Esports. Yep, 3 more laps or so for see both of these cars come into the pits for their next round of stops. When we get into that 2-hour bracket, then we'll start to see a little bit of thought around strategy and the like. Side by side, you don't see this too often through here. Vandenberg just gives up the spot there. He decides there's no point fighting. Take that spot. Loss. Go on without armors and any issues. 3 mechanical black flags in the field at this present stage as well. Racing Project Dynamics 711 and Satellite Racing. We saw those cars in cheers throughout this event as well. Both had long mechanical black flags as well. Grab drivers in for a chat.
Yeah, you can bring my brother in as well.
It's your brother too. Very good. We've got the guys from Willig Racing in, a Willig team. Hello, boys. Welcome in. Firstly, great job getting back onto the lead lap. You guys were struggling a little bit there, but you've suddenly found yourselves back in a position where you could maybe take yourselves up to a podium.
Yeah, I think we got probably the luckiest 4 safety cars. Because overnight we got rear-ended.
You're back in 5th.
Crawling, but it's been going quite well so far, I'd say.
I want to talk about the team name. We had Sperry talk about it before, but is your team name, would that be the proudest you could possibly think about making a team name in this event? I think it's probably the cleverest name we've seen out there too.
I think we always try to make something creative because, you know, we're just friends who know each other in real life. And, you know, that's something, it took us like a day or 2 to come up with it. But, yeah, it's, I think it's pretty clever as well.
Car on your left. Clear.
How have you found the race? Obviously, you just said you had a little bit of an issue in the overnight phase, but how have you found the event as a whole?
Oh, I love it. I think Mike has done a fantastic job. This is the first time we've done a non-iRacing event, if that makes sense. So like a series
hosted event.
Yeah, hosted event, and it's been great. I mean, we'd love to do it, of course, next year. It's been really, really smooth. Level's great. I think we're probably on pace for the slowest. But it's good to push ourselves since we all had quite good 3G laps. So yeah, split 2 for us is always great.
So what's the goal from here? Finish the race, I guess, is the main goal. Finish first, and then from there, anything else is a bonus.
I think on pace, that's all we have, to be honest. We're probably, I would say, 1 to 2 seconds down per lap. I think it's just 1 minute optional left, but it's probably not worth taking it. But anyways, I think 7th, considering everything that's happened, you know, it's the best we could have done.
Finish 7th, though. You finish in the top half of the field, so that's always a great way to look at it as well. You've beaten half the cars in your class.
Yeah, exactly. We kept out of it. So that was cool. The night stints were long, fun. You know, we're racing drivers, but sometimes when you sit on your chair for 5 hours in a row, you get really stiff. But you know, we kept the car on the track. I think we went for the safe setup. We kind of tuned our setup so it's, you know, it's not as twitchy. So I think that probably helped us out in the long run a little bit.
So who's getting back in the car next? What's happening driver-wise? Guys have pretty evenly spread out your 24 hours as well. So how have you gone with sleep? We'll talk about sleep.
That car
first
is a
before we
lap
talk about
down.
what's next? How have you tackled the issue of getting sleep, or have you slept?
Yeah, I sleep quite early because I'm 18 now. So I managed to sleep at 10:30, wake up at 4:30.
Left side.
Did the late night.
Clear.
And managed to do that. So it was quite good. Some guy was revving his engine outside my class, so it woke me up 10 minutes before I had to pick up anyways. But as you know, and what many people say, you don't sleep that well when you know your friends, your teammates, or out there pushing, doing the best they can. I probably still have the Red Bull from last night in my body. I don't know. I just feel like I'm still drunk over it, so I've just had a Red Bull.
I can confirm I'm feeling a bit the same. I had way too many cans of Monster Energy drink at 5 o'clock in the morning while we were wrapping up the early part of the
That car is a lap down.
Now I'm starting to really feel it. So it's a great event, and as you said before too, the guys at the majors have done an absolutely incredible job. To think that we've had 2,000 drivers racing in this event is incredible. How have you found it being a 3-car team as well? A 3-driver team, I should say. Not many 3-driver teams in this event. Most have gone for 4 or 5. How have you found the challenge of just having the 3 of you splitting the hours out and splitting the laps out?
Well, we tried to keep it between like our friends that we know in real life, so I think options are a little bit more limited when it's real life friends, but it's how it goes. When you're in it, we've done so much practice that it kind of, you're not really there when you're driving. When you're driving such long stints, it just kind of happens on pilot. So that kind of helps. You kind of lose track of time. I think Louis had a night stint where you said you only did 3 stints when you actually did 4 or 5, I think. So sometimes you lose track of time. And we also wanted to say this broadcast has been amazing. We've always been watching it on the background. The first 6 hours and the last 6 hours. Very professional. It's really nice. I think there's so much work done behind in the back seats. The stewards, the broadcast, for 4 splits, which is amazing. So yeah, I think it's been great. So honestly, hats off to all of you.
Thank you for that. Now, who's in the car to finish the race? Who's put their hand up for the last stint?
I think it'll be me. I haven't been in a while. 2 Will now on track. Maybe Fred might be the last 1 or 2 stints. We'll see how it goes.
Obviously, you guys are fully covered in regards to the spare rules, so it doesn't matter who drives the car from here on out as well, does it? So you can just do whatever you feel like you need to do to finish the race.
It's almost the case of who doesn't want to drive the least, right? I think
none of you at this point want to actually do it. It's just
that that car is a lap down.
You've had enough, but you're not hating it.
Yeah, I think my girlfriend's been cleaning the house while I was driving. I felt a little bit bad at times, but that's the sim racer's life.
Yeah, I felt bad about the screaming baby in the background too, so it's okay. We're allowed to all feel guilty. You guys want to say any words, any thanks to anyone while we've got
clear on the left?
Appreciate you guys coming in for a chat.
Go ahead, dude.
I was just saying thanks, Mike. Mike, you left. Fantastic job. That's pretty much it. And to you as well, TJ.
Thank you. I'm just here clicking buttons and talking rubbish, so don't worry. It'll get really loose in the last couple of hours.
Takes a special skill to do that. But yeah, enjoy the fight for the leads, because I think in the GT3s it could be interesting, and in the lmp2s it could be interesting. So enjoy that.
I think it's going to be very, very entertaining within all 3 classes. I think could come down to the end, and I think around the LMPH.
Drama in the LMPH.
Yeah, I don't think you want to lead. There's been a real curse on being the lead.
That car is a lap down.
See whether whoever's in the lead on the last lap can stay there. So I think we're in for a real good show the whole way through the field. On that too, just sort of a leader in your class had a little bit of a moment coming through the Ford chicane. Lost a little bit of ground. Actually got a slowdown as well. Hasn't cleared it yet. Had a little bit of a drama.
More moments.
You need a lot to help you, but
yeah, a lot of moments.
Thanks for jumping in, guys, and having a chat with us. And good luck, and fingers crossed you can maybe gain a couple more spots from 7th. But if you do finish in 7th, that's a great result.
Thank you.
Also, one last thing, I want to say sorry for I didn't want one of the 2 degrees
early on, so I feel really, really bad about it. So yeah, my bad, sorry.
A lot of the teams are tuning in, so hopefully they do hear that message. Speaking of the GT3 class, almost all of the field came into pit into their 13th.
That car is a lap down.
And now back out and away. The only car that didn't, though, was our lead car, Barcelona anti-win car, or the best team name, or equal best team name out on track.
Right side.
The one that's looking to win.
Clear.
Cool name, but yeah, two very, very cool names. Translation does make that sound a lot better, as the Mach 1 Esports car has just had a moment. As they've left the pit lane, Dave Clements are facing the wrong direction of the Dunlop Bridge. Now, how has that happened? Unusual spot to find your car. There's a little bit of cloud cover coming over the circuit. Pull the track down. He's just taking a little bit of curb inside of the car. And that is not what you want to do with brand new tyres. Really hurt them, so a little bit of ground there. With that, the fields have all separated a tiny little bit from the pit stop phase as well. As you see in the lane, and coming out is our lead non-BMW in GT. Netrex Grand Prix black car, the only Mercedes starter we had in the field. Regards to the GT3 class, the drivers could pick from 6 options. Obviously, the BMW has been the car of choice. We've seen Ferrari and Mercedes. Also available with the Audi, Lamborghini, and the Porsche. Which, if you did hear during the close of the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup broadcast, the new updated GT3 Porsche coming to iRacing next week. Very, very exciting. To seeing that car in service. Shout out to fellow Australian Jordan Caruso on winning the Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup. Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup champion. 5 seasons that's run for. 3 of those champions have been Australian. 3 championships won by Australians. So very cool for the Aussies in that series. Was of course winning 2. So we won. Pinto also champions of that series. The Valkyrie car, they have about a 2-second gap to the car behind the Aston Motorsport car. Mads Jensen just behind is closing in a little bit. Last lap by was around about 4/10 quicker, so it's a battle for the last podium spot here in LMP2 over the next little while. We'll see how much that gap does close, but there's still a fair way from the next round of pit stops, as well as we go less than 3 hours left in this race. Still a fair bit to go in this one, but this clock is starting to count down now. Incident we saw in regards to the simrigs.com BPR 797 and the 713 Project Dynamic Academy car. We saw that incident down at the second Mulsanne chicane. No further action for that incident. We saw the drivers, all sorts of views, for no further action given. Reading the so there's just more happening with that incident. Sorry, I'm just reading through the race control report, so there's still more being reviewed in regards to that incident. So we may see something further in the end. We'll see over the next little bit, but it is still. I mean, actually, looks like the 979 is receiving a drive-through potentially in regards to that. So, as the 713 on the inside had nowhere else to go, they were already as far to the left as they could go. We'll see what comes from this. So, they hear the Kiwi Green Racing hold on to their spot in position 5, but they will lose that here. You would feel to Philip Worley in the DPR 979, who is flying at this stage of the race. Despite the damage and the issues he has had, the car that he was involved with before, the 713, obviously was involved in that incident of Tracy Golly, the BRT car. The high caliber auto sports car. So it looks like it may have ended the race for the 713 GT3. A little controversial that before. And I haven't seen anything in regards to protest or what we saw with 39 BRT cars. So hasn't been brought to the attention of race control, so at this stage there's no penalty or review happening. It's a battle for second and third and fourth lmp2. Motorsport still going at it as they were a while ago. Gap now closed down to 0.4 of a second, and I feel like the Outdoor Motorsport car in 36 should get by with some relative ease based on the pace they've got last up by about 2 seconds quicker over the stint of that lap. Jensen in this car, the 36, he has completed 127 laps of racing post for this car. Jensen off on the side with him, and here comes Max to steal a place away and gets through over. Move, although has a big slide through the middle of the Daytona chicane. Might lose the spot straight back here. Just backing off and making sure. Incident looks like it is now confirmed. It will be a pit lane penalty for 979 Philip Worley. There with Darren Lobb, Philip Worley I should say, and time driving Project Dynamic car. Yes. The result of penalty for the 979. It's out of sequence, of course, as we said before. The 66 Penguin RC car, they've up out of sequence of them serving that penalty a little while ago. See it in that car will stay in the car. So now, after getting overtaken, he's really applying the blowtorch here to Matt Jensen, who's been a little scrappy since he got the pass done. 2 hours and 50 minutes to go. We're going to take a little break from commentary, go back to some natural sounds of the track. And in a couple of minutes' time, this is SimSpeed's coverage of the Majors 24. At number 2, at 168 minutes of racing to go.
Right side. Clear on the right.
We are back here on SimSpeed TV, and this is overtake for Racing Green right on cue. The F1 Esports car has been given a black flag. They've allowed that car by through by race there, back in 5th position. Coming DPR car just ahead. They are. They've just received that black flag now. Second and third in GT is really closed up. We're going to that little break. Looks like by 1.5 seconds difference. Lucas De Vries now right there and potentially could steal second place away from Delta V Racing. You guys have just come out of the pits as well. They came out 3 laps ago, now completing their 4th lap on this stint of tyres. Battle is very, very contested and congested.
That car is a lap down.
They've had a fairly up and down race, but sitting in third. Sorry, sitting in second. Very, very content their position, but
left side.
It's a very, very good pace.
Clear on the left.
Through goes Vries into position number 2 in class. They've got 5 seconds to hunt down the leader in class. Now just up the road. The fact that they can see that car, perfect little carrot to help them close the gap down.
Pit box in 10.
Plenty of time to potentially do it as well.
3, 2, 1. Right here.
DPR car has served their penalty, has rejoined the race about 10 seconds behind Australia-wide racing blue entry. Rocket Graphics in the 31 has come in the first car of the lmp2s to make their service. Battle for 3rd and 4th in class still ongoing at this present stage. Not much separating them at the moment, but the gap for 2nd and 3rd in GT3 is staying very, very tight right now. Not much separating these two cars at this stage. I feel like this battle will continue on for quite some time, probably until the next round of pit stops. Just still another 12 laps or 11 laps away for these guys, so still a lot to come out of this race. Racing had a car entered in the H class as well in this field, but they unfortunately their race on lap number 76 with some major issues. Unfortunately, found themselves out of the event. This car on the screen is a little slow down penalty, I think. It's for Delta V Racing, so give up a fair bit of time there. We're in that battle for now, but very, very easy error to make. I think that this battle will, once again, over the remainder of this event. Gap between first and second in class now is down to 4 seconds, so really substantial margins gained here. Van Yildirim in the lead car of class. Having to feel a bit of pressure coming in from behind. Cars coming at him for the podium fight in GT3. We saw the ST Racing entry 588 issues before they have now started to drop outright positions behind class of lmp2s, which now starting their pit sequence once again. Project Dynamic 710 in the pits, Valkyrie, XP, and also in Esports will continue on for another lap, but the Hydro Race GNS Racing Vertex car has come in to make their next stop. This is stop number 37 for them. See just a 42-43 pit stops for some of these teams by the end of this 24-hour event, which is such a huge number. To understand strategy around it come the end of the event is such a big ask. Well done to teams for being through. The fact that there's still got so many drivers ongoing in this event is such a great sight to see. The driver swaps within our LMDH field, LMP2 field I should say. Project Dynamic car of Maker continuing on as it was, but yeah, the Valkyrie XP car has had a driver swap. Now, behind the wheel, Lig car, who lucky enough to have that two before, they've on the driver swap. Louis just jumped into the car. We will do the next stage, I think, and as they said when they were here, Fran finished the race off more than likely. They did a very good job of making sure that they got their driver stint minimums out of the way very early in this race. Fair share rule in effect, so making sure that you do fair share rules very important. Every team that is still going in this fair share, which is really good to see. Driver slow motion racing car currently sitting fourth. This car here, they've had 7 different drivers in the car. Ulster, Asa, others get very evenly split. Counts as points. Now, on the least amount of laps, 32. They've well and truly reached their minimum driver's length.
The lead is pitting now.
BT3 now down to 3.7 seconds and closing full second advantage. Ventus Racing on that previous lap, so Matt really starting to close it down now. And how much can he close it before the end of this stint? One positive now is that there's a few less drivers out on track as into the pits comes our lead car in the race, not in vain Racing Orange, in their next stop. Right, normal cycle, the normal window. So in the Samsung Command Esports car, Zach Ratte White, Nancy Jensen and Aston Motorsport car comes in, so we'll see if the White Esports car will come in on this lap as well. Do come in. They're just seeing that Kenkenin back into the car for the Sam Sweat I apologise there. I thought that he had only done one stint, but he's definitely done a lot more than one. Oliver Esports, Oliver Autosports, I should say, now hits. And a driver swap in the car is out. Leaders, lmp2 and LMDH. Hits. Read out another lap advantage. The outright race. Very, very fast throughout this race. I don't know what the fastest lap of the race for that car. Number 234 their event. Number 337, lap 351. This lap here, sorry, lap 350 is this lap right now for Not in Vain Racing Orange. It's 67, 68 laps to go potentially. Get to 420, we're looking at about 418 at the current pace. That is the case. And we've got two different lap counts on two different timing screens. We've got one that's saying 418 laps to go, and another one that's saying there's only 44 laps to go. So, which one's correct? Probably both, knowing how things play out. Substantial lead at the moment, 28 seconds, but we've seen how quickly the leads can go. The lmp2 class, sorry, the LMDH class, get that long many more times throughout this race.
Car on your left.
LMDH.
Still there, hold your line. Clear.
They've been very fragile, so making sure you can link this car home is as important as making sure you've got good pace, staying out of trouble, staying out of the wall, staying off the curbs that can bite. Been very key to the race in the LMDH class. Throughout this event, Simon Jacobson sitting in second place. He's about 8 seconds back in that class in the Penguin RC Simulation Cup powerhouse sequence, but they are about a minute further back. That is your top three in class 4 LMDH. LMP2, MSOE Clown Esports leading by 14 seconds over Project Dynamic 710. Dynamic team have had a very up and down weekend. Therefore, in this field, had issues. Out of the race, 7-11, 7-13 both have retired from the event. 7-10 on screen here, still ongoing. Second position in the class. And just behind them, the Outsim Motorsports car of third place runner in class. Far off, the Project Dynamic Academy car, 7-12, still going in this event as well. And the class that has every podium position well and truly up for grabs is the slowest of the three classes. GT3 class, Danielle Arior, or single mothers looking to win. Very clever name.
You're back in fifth.
By 2 seconds. Lucas Debris in the Everett's Racing, Delta V Racing, GT3 car still going as well. In position number 3, only 4 seconds back. So 6 seconds separates that top 3 in that class. Even then, you can't discount the cars behind, only 25 odd seconds back. Lucas Kiwi Racing Green and Australia-wide Racing Blue in 5th there. Not too far off as well, but that is our closest class at this present stage. 1.7 seconds for the lead in GT3. Lucas Debris starting to close the gap down. lap by, this car was about a second quicker after this single lap pace, so probably expect by the end of this stint cars to be nose to tail one way or the other. I've seen that 41 car, I'm talking about Hassan Yildirim.
That car is a lap down.
Track position, not too stressed about losing ground and losing positions, because knowing that they're very, very consistent, should be able to get that back later on in the stint.
Car on your left. Clear.
Drivers across the line to start lap number 311 of the GT3 class. That now down to 1 second. Last lap by a 1.8 second advantage to the favour. Lucas De Vries closed down this gap. Based on that pace, he will now get draft. There's a gap. My mouse has played tricks on me. There we go. That was the shot I was trying to get. Yildirim, it's De Vries, now 0.6 of a second separating these two cars. Off next round pit stops potentially for these guys, maybe 6 laps away. Coming in and getting another service. Ooh, that will start to settle the field out in the GT3 class. Will we start to see someone maybe short fill the car? Like the think strategy in that aspect, where he starts to try and find where he can maybe work on getting a move done, move around in the mirrors a little, find a driver on the crown of the road, a very normal line, straight down the middle. He's now well and truly in range to potentially steal this spot away. He's got the momentum down the second part of the Mulsanne straight, and I think this done and dusted very, very quickly and easily. Sure is, move done. Leader in GT3. Princess Racing are leading this race. A little while since this car has been in the lead. Now back into one. Now looking at the start. Wave. Everyone else in the field. Delta V, remember it wasn't that long ago that they
that car is a lap down.
5.2 seconds, 5.3 seconds, so now they're really starting to make some inroads in this GT3 class. Vries has been very, very quick. This car's fastest lap.
Right side.
3:52.9,
Clear.
which was set right at sunrise. Dan Van der Ven, I should say. Dan Van der Ven. Set right at the end of lap number 227, but get the pace for Lucas De Vries. He did the very, very first stint in his car. Only did a one stint right at the very start, and now is back in the car for just the second time in this entire race. He hasn't done a huge number of laps. Shown pace adds to the other cars, and my apologies there for that little thud. The pace is that he hasn't had the nighttime running that we've seen some of the other cars have, so his daytime running laps have been very, very good. You can see, well, talking about the track evolution has been incredible. You can see the very, very distinct dark rubber marks through the high-low corners and the marbles off in the distance. The caution curves are perfect. People will see that. Starting braking here into the chicane. is starting to pull a little bit of a gap. Bucks fly as well. Starting to the lane there is the third car in class. Andrews, Delta V racing car, is starting to close the gap down as well. So this gap for the lead in GT3 is starting to close and close it. I'm not going to say a rapid rate, but it's closing fast enough that maybe some concerns starting to appear in the Anil Win era. Mom's looking to win the car. Again in lmp2, as around the outside through the Porsche curbs goes the 710. I got in here, I believe that's the high caliber. No, sorry, that's the Project Dynamic car, the LMDH going through, and also in here is the Action Motorsport car going through as well. And then there is a GT3. That's the Ferrari that is still going in this field, the Valkyrie XP Wanda racing car. Gia in that car. Soul Ferrari still running. Our Soul GT3. Yeah, we've got two GT3s still in the field that aren't BMWs, but out of our field of 54, and 3 BMWs between the MDH and GT3 class. So 33 out of our 54 cars in the field have been BMWs. Oh, that's right there, I did. They are actually now. Heading out of the pits for another stop is the DPR 979. Gap at the front of GT. Look at the gap that has already been built here by Green. He's starting to put a decent margin here. Much of a gap he can break away here, but he's already pulled 2.7. May get a big enough gap that put a little bit of a flub in the pits, or maybe a bit of walking with traffic. And now though, as the traffic is really spread, so I don't see too many issues with traffic coming up towards the end of the race.
That car is a lap down.
Adrian's here. Close the gap down ahead, so may see him in the fight. P2 before the pit stops. He's on his 9th lap. We know that 13 laps seems to be about the limit in this class. Close that down. Yet to be seen, but looking like he's doing enough to close it. 140 minutes left on the clock. I think laps to go. 41 laps to go for our race leader. So we will get to 396 laps to period 1 at this stage. We may not get to 400.
Left side.
Bit, but,
clear.
Reddington leading the way. The 6 cars left in the field in the LMDH class still have 10 runners in our B2 class and 11 still running in GT3.
That car is a lap down.
SimSpeed TV. If you're joining us for the first time ever on SimSpeed TV, appreciate your company throughout what was overnight stint and now throughout the day here as well. And you notice as well, also have a second broadcast on at the same time.
Left side. Clear on the left.
As well. In Scops. Premier V8 series. Australia-New Zealand region. Oh, yeah, feel free to check that out. We'll have a check out of that later on. Familiar voices in that as well. The event though has been absolutely fantastic, as we said before. It's still mind-boggling to think we've had over 2,000 entries in the event overall, so 48 plus hours of live broadcasting throughout this event. The 4 splits for the broadcast is 10 total racing splits. 520 teams was the final number. The 4 entries in this field. Battle for second and third in lmp2. Been evolved, ebb and flow over the past, say, hour or so since the safety car restart group dynamic 710. Aston Motorsports have swapped positions a couple of times. They changed where they are located in the field based on the stop cycles and the like. They're not in sequence with each other. They're a lap out of sequence at the moment. But I think maybe if Jensen went extra lap, got back into that cycle, if the Project Dynamic happened with an extra lap as well, potentially, themselves 2 laps out of sequence, it would be a plus for them later on in the day. See how it does play out. Jensen not able to close this gap down. Actually got a slow down penalty on the previous lap at the forward chicane, so a little bit of ground. Eye on making lap pads as well. I can't see the new cars receiving one, which is always a great sign considering the attrition rate in this race. Not too many more cars retire, and I think now at this point, still out on track after 22 odd hours of racing, you don't want to find yourself into at this point in the race, you don't want to end up retiring. So I think everyone will be maybe just dialing it down a tiny little bit.
That car is a lap down.
That's the moment there for Lucas Becker. Away with it. Did have a tiny little moment there.
Left side. Clear.
GT3 has stepped out to 5.8 seconds. Gap in LMDH has stepped out to only 40 seconds. Leaders in both of those classes are being now starting to break away, but this is our closest fight on the entire track. Mads Jensen for Jensen Motorsport. Project Dynamic with Becker. Just ahead. 7/10 of a second separating these two at this present stage. He's closing and closing quickly. Last lap by second, full 3.5 tenths of advantage to of Jensen, who we are on board with here. One car has finished fixing the mechanical block. I'm just trying to work out who that may have been. It would have been the 580. Fix their car. I don't know if we're going to see it back out there, but 588.
That car is a lap down.
Big moment earlier in the event. They have got their car fixed, and fingers crossed we'll see them back out. I mean, the MDHs are very, very fragile beasts, so after getting damage fixed, we may not see a car fully fixed and back out on track, but if they are fixed enough to get back out there, it'd be great to see them finish the event. It's the line at the end. Obviously, them being currently 19 laps down from the lead of the event. Benson not quite close enough to get this move done, but
left side. Clear.
Steal a spot away.
That car is a lap down.
Coming laps. Back up. Only 7th lap in this stint. We know that cars are getting between 9 and 10 laps.
Left side.
11 if they are.
Clear on the left.
Save an extra lap of fuel. It will be very, very helpful come the end of the event. We know that we're 95% sure that we've seen our 4 safety cars. A quick check-in with race control to see if we've got any extra protests that have come through from what we have seen. Race control since the penalty that we saw handed out for
left side.
EPR racing car.
Clear. Left side.
Drive through
clear.
Earlier. Becca trying to hold on to the spot in position number 2 in class. Background Matt Jensen starting to apply the blowtorch a little. Positive for these guys as well is they're starting to pull away from everyone else in the field and are closing in on our race leader of the class, Skari Kankinen. Samsung Esports entry. In that number 343 of this event. Motorsport car has used drivers. Now on his 59th race. Person on 13 and Byloft. 3 laps. As in the pits comes the NRC simulation car. Blake Reynolds gets back into the car, and Blake since early on in the race. Back out on track. Coca-Cola e-NASCAR race podium getter. And then McLaren esports banner. Series in 21. Talking about Project Dynamic. That's there. Why there. This is his 137th car. You can 112, which will probably get in the race off here. I think extra 96 laps, but no longer in the car, so I think he may be done. Let's see if that is the case. 710 car, where is their driver score back all the way to the end. Seeing on my timing as well, race leader, it's a little bit of time on this lap, so I'll pick up a second there. That was about 1.5 seconds at pace on this lap. Fairly rank the whole way through, so a little bit of an error. Errors at this point in the race, you don't want to start to see them creeping in because the heat levels are starting to get higher. Track temp also starting to rise a fair bit as well. We're seeing this overtake potentially happening here between 2 very, very quick drivers in the AusNZ racing world, especially Tin Tops. Esports car, yellow and sky blue, dark blue. From Esports takes the spot away. Thomas Freeman in the Australia-wide racing car. It's just coming out of the pits as well in the Australia-wide racing car. So it's just got to come up that spot. Mach 1 Expert's car is off sequence out of these two as well. Project Dynamic has just lost a whole heap of ground while we've gone away from them. So I apologise to those guys for curse on them. Gone and taken them off camera. They've lost a whole heap of time. I'm going to replay of what's happened to them in just a moment. Error on themselves. We'll see if this is a self error or whether there's been some contact made here, but it's a solo slide for the 710 Project Dynamic car, and they are now back one spot. But as always in this race, keep it out of the wall and other cars. Continuing on in this event. Stops in the GT3 class, whereas Deans continue in the car. Fuel and tyres.
That car is a lap down. Car right. Clear.
A little error here for Simon Jacobson in the High Caliber Autosports blue entry, the second place car in its class, in the DH class. A little bit too deep. Indianapolis to the dirt, avoids the wall, and continue on without any real drama. High Caliber Autosports blue. Shout out while we can as well to the other broadcasters in the new series. But Split 1 going on currently on Global Sim Racing channel. Just here looking at the Split 2, Split 3 on TV, and Split 4 over on Grid Vision. Amazing effort for everyone involved to see so many cars, so many drivers, so many teams. So much broadcasting and add in live streams from everyone doing their Twitch streams and the like as well. It's incredible the amount of action that has been covered by this event and the amount of coverage that has been produced in this event. It's absolutely incredible to see. So shout out to the entire community who's got behind this event. Been absolutely fantastic to be a part of, and if you do want to be a part of the rest of the major series too, don't forget that this series continues in a few weeks' time. Head to the streets of Long Beach for the Grand Prix Long Beach. see you there. Remember the last round we had was Speedway 500 at Indianapolis in the Lara IRO1. It was absolutely fantastic. One of the most exhilarating races we've ever seen in the Major Series. Make sure if you have not joined the Major Series, do check it out. It's going to be a great second half of the championship season. Events, all different sorts of cars. We've got the Long Beach race coming up as the next event in the schedule. We've also got the Crandon World Cup coming up in the trucks. They call the Lucas Oil Off-Road Pro 2 and Pro 4 trucks. We've got the Sandown 500 as well in the Australian touring cars. We've got the Holly Farms 400 coming up as well, which will be in the 87s. NASCAR 87 Legends Wilkesboro for 100 lapper. British Grand Prix, which is very, very much up our alley here at SimSpeed TV. Of course, covering the iRacing Grand Prix Tour. Mercedes W13 every weekend, as that's a GT off the track. It's the 83 car who's having all sorts of tech issues, so I'm wondering if that incident is actually from a technical issue. Just behind there as well, the Project Dynamic Academy being held up and walked at the wrong spot at the wrong time. 2 hours left on the clock is when you start to see the fatigue levels kick in. The final events of the season, the Iron Warrior and playoffs. If you haven't got involved in other events of this series, never done the majors before, get yourself involved. It is an incredible series of events, and if you've enjoyed this one, aren't too fussed on doing too many more endurance races. The rest of the series is absolutely incredible. Think about big events within real world motorsport. We replicate them at the majors. The reason they're called majors is because they are major events within the world racing calendar. Back on board the Project Dynamic 710. It's starting to find the rhythm back after that little whoopsie a little while ago, but we may see this car come into the pits right now or go one more lap. This is the end of the 10th lap on the stint. In comes Luca Becker, make that pit stop after 10 laps. Now, we saw in the early phase of the race, we did see one car seem to always find an extra lap in the lmp2 class. That was the Dingus Racing car. We haven't seen them out on track for a very long time. Just racing the 92 car. It's now out of the race, finished the race on lap number 195, but this car here, the Samsung Canaan Esports car, has now managed to find an extra lap of fuel and will complete their 11th lap on this stint, from what I can gather. So it's a change, and speaking of change, there is a driver change in the 710 car. As expected, Ollie Newcomb gets into that car. Brendan Bloomquist gets into the Bright Esports car. Sorry, he's been in that car for a while. I apologise there. So much happening in that, so that's a bit of a mistake there, but he's going to go on without too many dramas. Very easy to make an error, but obviously able to pull the car up before getting into the dirt. Hit the magic 2 hours to go marker. Still no clearer on who is going to steal the win in this event. Vein Racing Orange currently leading on LMGH class. I said that wouldn't be the last time I did that. They are pushing on 4 to 6 second advantage. Absolute Canaan Esports still leading the way in LMP2. Consensus Racing still leading the way as well. It's got a 7-second advantage in that class. That is the closest class in our field at this stage. Canadian Sport should be in this time. Barry Kankman come in. Very, very good job in the stint to extend that advantage for this car. Necessarily been the fastest in regards to one lap pace, but most consistent throughout the entirety of the stint. In he comes. In regards to who will jump in when it will stay in the car. See Barry continue. He's currently finishing now his 117th lap in the stint. In the race. Okay, right. 91, 78 for Chrome Pigments. Busters. Also done 62 laps in the car, so fairly even spread throughout that field, throughout that group. Mads Jensen in as well. Karen also been very good. Scarra continuing in the car, and Bloomquist likely coming at the end of this lap as well. Oliver Newcomb, the lead car, Vision in LMP2.
Car on your left. Clear on the left.
Next round of pit stops. You may have just seen there too. Another car. Just back out on track. This is the number 4 RD Simsport car. They just resumed the race a few laps ago, 7 laps ago.
The leader's pitting now.
They are 238 laps down, but they are back in the race, which is always great to see. Great to see a car get back out there after huge numbers of laps down. Should be very, very proud of winning back out on track. Get yourself back out there after such a long time out of the event.
They say you cut the course. You'll have to slow down and give up the time going. Right side, clear.
And they have to get 3 to meet the minimum driver time, so they will pass that at this stage. I'm going to try if we can get 3-player walk.
The leader's pitting now.
May not be able to, but let's see if we can. If we can spool up a very, very big replay. As our leader comes in lap 11 on this stint. Doing some very, very good stint for him. Stays in the car, so he's staying in. Sam Jacobson next in the field. Got an issue here. He's got to try and get himself into the pits and found a very, very small gap to slide into. Just got himself into that gap. Now into the lane. Stop. Now from Jacobson. The driver change in that car. Or it's back in. Replay that pit entry in just a moment. Well, so 31 when you stop. Let's see if I can find replay from our overnight stint. See if you can work out why the number 4 car ended up out of the race for 200 plus laps. That's 12 odd hours. Then I've been stuck in the lane. So I'm not going to go replay. Ridwell was the driver at the time. apologise to him for bringing up a replay of this so late on, but it's important to note that even after this incident, you guys have come back out on track, been able to continue in the race. So that's a heavy impact, obviously damaged a whole heap of suspension. These guys have got back out on track after, as I said, going down 200 and 38 laps. I can actually tell you the pit stop time from that tow was 866 minutes. Now my maths brain has stopped working. It stopped working a long time ago. So how long is that? 14.5 hours of stop for. Back out into the race after 14.5 hours. Very, very cool to see. They will gain a few spots in regards to the upright position by the time they get back into the race.
You're back in fifth.
How tight this was for Simon Jacobson. Stop. That was very, very tight. 8:31. When he came in to make that stop, he was stuck on the wrong side of the road. I wanted to come into the pits and almost in. Asked if people around him. Squeezes into a gap. Probably was a little bit bigger than it looked like on the TV cameras, so yeah, it was done pretty well. Well done to him. Lovely actually. Freeze, who is the leader, obviously, of the GT3 class, and yeah, it probably looked a lot closer on the TV cameras than what we had thought. Yeah, probably we're a little bit too harsh on him there, squeezing into that gap that was a lot bigger than we may have first thought. But coming up on Alexander Bird, who incidentally is the fastest GT3 out on track. Sure, they're a little bit off the pace at the moment. They're also out of sequence, but they are lapping the fastest is this car, the F1 Sport 46 car of Alexander Bird. Pass that by, he did all 356. The only other driver in the 356 is this car here, the big beefy Merc. It's black. Maniac. Going now one lap down from the last lead. Still going, which is always the thing, as we said throughout this race. As in the YouTube chat there, thanks to Kevin Dunn for tuning in. Determination, very, very awesome to see that we've got so many drivers determined to finish the race despite having shockers, bad runs, incidents that may be out of their control. Register a lap time on the previous lap, so that says that he's received a slowdown that previous lap as well, so he has not best right. I'm also just seeing that back out that's still a few laps down, but we're about to gain some spots. Now the better Frost car is currently 71 laps down from the overall race leader, but the class leader they are 29 laps down from, but they are still ongoing, still racing, still putting up a fight. Anderson is the current driver of the car. These guys have had a few different drivers jump into this throughout the race. Vader, Bergman, Solberg, Horgland. Yes, it is. So, great to see William back in the car. He has been in the car since the start of the event. Maintaining the gap at the front of that around 40-odd second margin at this stage. Having a little, still being very, very close to that odd minute second margin. Bit. Yeah, you did have a 40-minute margin to another car, and they decided to park it, but put a second margin to second. Anything could happen. We've seen these LMPH cars, and as I said LMP1 again, DH cars, very, very fragile, and that curb there that we just saw Mark Gomez run over, we've seen that curb damage a couple of cars in this race as well, so a bit careful not bounce over the curbs wrong angle too much throughout this race, because eventually damage can end your race. We've seen races ending this one very, very quickly and easily. In the final 100 minutes of this race. Where the protests have come in, actually, there's some drivers seeking some clarification around protests earlier, so no further race control decisions have been discussed. Checking in on some other splits, and it's been great to see lots of activity on social media around this event. Been great to see Twitch streams as well. Some of the biggest Twitch streams of the weekend have been for this event, which has been fantastic. Some of the biggest YouTube streams as well have been for this event, which is great. Some of the biggest Facebook iRacing streams as well have been for this event, so it's been great to be a part of it. Split2 racing action. Been very hotly contested. As well, big shout out to our friend over at GSRC, Radio on TV, and also Rig Vision, who are covering the splits of racing. Some of the other classes. See that in the third split, closest battle in the classes is about 2.5 minutes. So we've got the closest battle in regards to classes here in the split one. This fight is in the LMP2. got about 20 seconds back, so we might be the closest fight within the field. So it means that the action is going to be fantastic to watch as we approach the end of this event. 103 minutes left on the clock. We are watching come around the world and haven't said hello yet. Make sure you jump in the chat and say hello. So, just know where you're watching from. Shout out as well. And people watching from all over the world over the weekend. Ironically, the start of the broadcast this weekend, three of us in the booth are all from the same region in Australia, so it was always pretty cool. In GT now 8.5 seconds allowed to move the track. The track has actually cooled off about 3 degrees Celsius over the past minutes or so, hovering around the 42 to 43 degrees Celsius margin. Down to 39. Has got a little overcast here in the French countryside. Shout out to some of the teams that provide us some information throughout the races to how their races are going. Shout out to, we'll go back to the, just read something that I had missed. Princess Racing car, Lucas DePries at the wheel. Yannick van der Zand, who's in that car. Happy birthday to you. What a way to race on your birthday. Don't know how old you are, so we'll just say 21, because everyone turns 21 when you reach a certain age. Happy birthday. Hope you have had a good day. When you reach a certain age, every birthday you become 21. I celebrated my 21st again enough times this year. Working it back up to 9.5 seconds. Closest battle in our class here are these two cars you can see on screen. Kiwi Racing green car. Rigs.com DPR. Now these two have been flowing in this battle for a lot of this event. Now themselves back nose to tail once again. They are on slightly different strategies, about 3 laps difference on the pit stop phases. Excuse me, that's not much when you consider how long we've still got left in this race. Still, both will have to pit 2 more times. The 2 more pit stops. See, lobbying in about 3 laps. That'll leave them with an hour and 30-ish on the clock. With about 45 odd minutes to go. So, still lots that can play out in this race. comes into the pits. 4th position in the GT class. Background there, Rolex clock. We can do a bit of magic here with the phone camera. I may have noticed this. Numbers on this board, they're all 100% accurate. Count that starts and matches up to the session timer. It's not regards to
that car is a lap down.
time screen, safety car period. The other numbers to end correction. One of the numbers is humidity and one of the numbers is wind speed, so Easter egg for everyone. Little Easter eggs around this track, which is so we'll see if we can get some more Easter eggs out throughout the rest of the event. You've seen something out on the track. Rumours that there may be. Let's see if we can go for a little exploring out. Oh. That's for you. This track is. Okay, see, it's just sitting off side just there. Later.
Car right. Clear on the right.
Here's a little Easter egg for everyone. There's the side of the track. About FC and around the track there.
That car is a lap down.
Some more things throughout race. Rain starts
left side. Clear on the left.
The drivers.
That car is a lap down.
Gomez now 1 second advantage, still maintaining very same gap.
Car right.
Quite some time.
Clear on the right.
See if it does close up or extend out. Blake Reynolds, as we said, in the car in the Penguin RC simulation car. And they're about a minute back from Simon Jacobson in high caliber auto sports entry. And GT3 still maintaining these Bhutan use. Yeah, butchered everyone's name in this race. I apologise. Tuning in Mac 1 Esports. Been a very up and down race. Those guys was leading very early on. GT3 involved in an instant. I think it was LMDH's early on, and that lap down, but they got back onto the lead lap. Now sitting currently in position number 7 in the class.
Car right.
Still
Keep to the left. Clear on the right.
This Kiwi Racing green car and single on DPR entry. Very, very tight all the way through the last 4.5 hours since we came live. These two have been very, very close, separated by no more than 5 or 6 seconds for the entirety when they're on the same pit stop strategy or pit stop stint. So it's been very, very entertaining to watch these two go at it.
That car is a lap down.
We saw the RD Sim Sport car back
Car
on
right.
track.
Clear on the right.
240 odd laps down. They have come back into the pits, unfortunately, for the car for a second time. So, despite them coming back out and doing a little stint, decided the car's way too damaged. They did gain a spot throughout that phase, but brought the car back into the pits and will no longer continue into it, which is a little bit sad, but
that car is a lap down.
Back out on track, because that is an effort in all in itself to get back out there when you serve a 14.5-hour pit stop and then bring the car back out on track after that is a fantastic effort, despite excessive damage that car had from that incident earlier on.
Car on your left. Clear on the left. That car is a lap down.
Reynolds and make 37th pit stop for this car, the 66, which was leading the field at one point, but hasn't led for very long. It's been a fair bit of time back. The last runner in class had some issues very, very early on, and of course we saw the
right side. Clear.
Just as we came live when the incident occurred, that was with 7:11. Good to Rouge. Racing's just lost a whole heap of ground as well, so that gap was maintaining that 41 second margin. It's now at 36 seconds, so Mark Gomez has not had a good run on the last lap and the lap previous. He's lost a fair bit of ground, so he needs to start to get himself back into a rhythm with 90 minutes to go. 40 car. Dramas. See if he can close himself and bring himself back to the rhythm that he needs to hold on to this race lead. To give up large chunks of time long before we start to see this tail battle for the lead in DH once again. Said 90 minutes left on the clock. We'll take a little bit of a break from commentary for a few moments. We'll come back. We'll go on through to the end of the race. We also have some friends joining us as well, so stick with us here on SimSpeed. Pick up the volume a little bit of a break from talking, and we'll be back with you for the last few minutes of this very, very exciting and entertaining race. This is the Majors 24.
That car is a lap down. Left side. Clear on the left. Pit boxing 10, 5, 3, 2, 1. Right here. That car is a lap down. Right side. Clear on the right.
We are back for coverage here on SimSpeed TV. 1 hour 23 and 40 seconds left on the clock here. Split.
That car is a lap down.
Of Majors 24. Main Racing Orange still leading the way. And stabilised again now down sorry, 34 seconds for the lead of that class of WDH. Lead in lmp2 staying very stable as well, almost identical lap times last few laps between Barry Kankinen and Mads Jensen. 8 cars.
Right side. Still there. That car is a lap down. Clear on the right.
In GT3, that gap has started to extend a little because De Vries starting to break away from the rest of the field, but
right side.
How far I've seen the second last
clear on the right.
Every class. Newton's just come into eventually could be their second last stop in the 710. In the 10 laps to stint thereabouts in this class. They may have to come in for another 2 stops. Maybe 2 minutes left in the clock. I think they're going to have to do another 4 laps per stint. They're going to be 4 laps short, so my very, very quick maths. Hope you were able to use the break to take a little bit of a snack and self recharge, get your energy levels back up by coffee and recharge the internal batteries a tiny little bit. And then before we spoke to Billy Team Boys, it's Fred Willig, as expected. Fred will jump into the car for the last stage of the race. He jumps to complete that final stage. You'll have to come in and make 2 more stops, as I just suggested for that class. Now, interesting here, we've seen around about 11 laps to a stint in the LMDH class. This is the 10th lap on the stint here from Mark Gomez. So they'll get 1 more to get them up to 11. They'll still need 2 stops, but will they need 3? Very, very borderline. They may have to splash and dash for 1 lap at the end of the race, based on the current cycle of pit stops. So we'll see if that plays out in that way, but there's every chance that we could see the driver of the 440 come in for a splash and dash. We'll see if that is the case, but yeah, they could have also timed the strategy very, very nicely. In the pits comes the number 7, Samso Kanan Esport. Still in at least 2 more stops, I would think, at this stage of the race. Between Kiwi Racing Green and Mac1 Esports has extended, but that's purely due to Alexander Bird coming in to make a stop for the Mac1 Esports car. It will let that gap drop back down very, very soon because Tobias Leaf will be in for a stop very soon. I apologise for not getting everyone's notes right. I'm really struggling enough to look at your screen for 24 odd hours. It's starting to be a bit of a struggle to be able to read the names that are very, very small on my screen. So I apologise as a change of driver.
That car is a lap down.
Organised. The background. My apologies for the typing on the keyboard as well. Which is a keyboard as well coming through on the microphone. It's very, very loud. Love, but It's a bit annoying on a broadcast. This car here, the Austin Motorsport car, this is something that we talked about before. The car is getting an 11th lap to the stint. Is that going to be a strategy that could win them the race?
Right side, clear on the right.
May be okay. They may get away with one less stop. As we said, the car and the Opera Esports, the Project Dynamite cars, they may have to come in for 2 more stops still. So lmp2 is getting very, very, very interesting in regards to how we go strategy-wise. Yeah. Kiwi Racing Green is coming to the pits to make that pit stop you mentioned they were about to do. Driver change in that car. Yeah, getting into that car. Breeze still in the car. Now, Princess Racing car.
The lead is fitting now.
Still continuing on. Yeah, have just joined us. Name literally translates from Turkish to English to single mothers looking to win. Absolutely brilliant. Bit of banter from those guys.
The lead is fitting now.
2 laps to go, so I think they have timed that absolutely perfectly. Mads Jensen has got 11 laps out of this stint, and if it's 22 laps to go, he has also done a very good job of timing this out as well. So see if that is how it will play out. Tom Jacobson also coming in, no surprise, he's in the same strategy as Mark Gomez. Blake Reynolds in the Penguin RC simulation car. We were wondering whether that car would be a-okay in regards to strategy, or whether they would get caught out a little. Get caught out with a splash and dash, maybe 4 laps to go. Jensen staying in the car of the number 36. Samsung Cloud Esports car continues on. They need to work out. They're going to have to go in the mega fuel stage. They haven't got any more than 10 laps to a stint in quite a while. The last time they pitted, they got 10 laps. They got 10 laps, and there was 10 laps as well. I'm just trying to see if last time they got 11 laps to a tank was out of the safety car.
You're back in 5th. Nice work.
They find themselves in a little bit of trouble. It's really slow racing. It's really slow motion racing. It's getting their stop done. It's B and Incus Racing both in the pits. B stays in the car. And stays in the car as well. No, actually it doesn't. Into the car pits. Martin Meyer. Driver change in that class. The Rex Grand Prix Black come in. Sol Hayes MG GT3. Yes, and the last pit stop done as well. Out of the pit stop phase, ended up with a very, very tight battle here. We've seen these two cars battling for quite some time. It's been ebbing and flowing. The gaps have been chopping and changing, but for now, Austin Motorsport Project Dynamic not that far apart, 1.3 seconds on the road. That will not take much to be separated over the next little while. It's going to be a very, very fantastic end to the race in lmp2 here for split 2 coverage for cars of the majors. So we've got the closest fight in all of the classes. field. That's in our class of split one. In the split one field, I should say. Their lmp2 class is separated by about 30 seconds all the way through, and their GT3 class was over 30 seconds. They also only have 2 cars on the lead lap. The H class, 3 on the lead lap. We also have 7 cars on the lead lap. lmp2, and we have 7 cars on the lead lap. GT3. Still got a few cars left to come in here. Our car still yet to come in. But stop. This is a big bonus for them because they can short fit on that final stop. Maybe gain some ground back that we have been losing over the last little while. We'll see if they do gain some time back. Very, very nice spot. Starting to tick down. Far off hitting the magical number that everyone will be very, very excited to see when the clock reaches the final 60 minutes of this race. More so than it's up here in the booth as well. Stop. Will be made. But I guess we'll say a quick hello to Marco Silva, who's been car in this number 83 car. It hasn't quite gone to plan, but he's still out there on track, mate.
Yeah. Hi, Jay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to having me here. Yeah, unfortunately, we had some issues throughout the race, but hey, that's endurance racing. Still quite happy with the pace that we're showcasing, and even if we were several laps down, we had an incident and some network issues that dropped us down, and we had to field a different driver that wasn't meant to drive the car right now. So yeah, from our side, I think with a little over an hour to go, there's not much that we can do over strategy to recover the time, and we're just throughout the race we were quite dependent on safety cars to bring some time up and see how things go. But we're quite happy that even with all the issues we're still achieving a top 10. Of course other teams had issues, but we were very chuffed in running in the top end, in the sharp end at the first few hours of the race. That really showcased the pace that our drivers have and that we had as a team coming into this race.
Sure, you haven't had a great running, but yeah, as you said, you're still sitting in P10 and you're still finishing the top half of the field overall, which when you look at it that way, you're sitting in 27th overall. There's 54 cars in the field. You're in the top half of the field in the second split of the event. You can't complain about that too much.
No, of course, we can take the positives out of it. Yeah, it's our first Majors 24 as well.
That car is a lap down.
Recent team. We're driving as for a couple of years, established for a couple of years now. Really just focus on endurance racing, and we missed the majors last year, so definitely it was a no-brainer to join as a high caliber event that it is, and the drivers and teams that participate. So yes, as I said, I think split 2 we were relatively close to even get to split 1 and showcase the pace and an establishment that showcase as a team. We're quite happy with that, and of course drive to the flag the best that we can and showcase what we do despite the issues that can creep up during an endurance race.
Who's getting in the car to finish the race off?
Car on your left.
That is a very good question.
Clear.
As a team principal, I'm not up to the strategy, so yeah, that's a good question. I'll ask the team. My job into the team is really just to make sure that everything is organized and established and prepared, and establish a framework for all the drivers and the teams to make sure that they're best prepared. We have pretty good drivers that actually act as coach and mentors and deal with the strategy
Clear.
in preparation to the event. So yeah, it's out of my possibility. Apologies. I'll ask the team and drop you a line in terms of what we expect. But yeah, we had the network issues, so not really sure what we can do at this point with the team on split 2. We are fielding an lmp2 entry, which is on the split 4, and that still has some fighting capabilities to get to P7. They're P8 at the moment. I think sitting P10, there's not really much we can do. It's out of our hands in terms of strategy of what we can do, and yeah, just take it to the flag, keep it consistent, clean, and just enjoy the last hour.
Yeah, definitely enjoy it, mate, and congratulations on even participating. Getting 2 cars in the event in the top half of the splits as well is always a great achievement, and congratulations on being a part of the biggest hosted event in iRacing history. It's been an absolutely fantastic event. Great to have you a part of it.
Well, thank you, and thank you to obviously all the majors organization, SimSpeed for the amazing broadcasts, and yeah, how we were showcasing sim racing at Le Mans, 24 hours, the biggest endurance race there is, to the whole wide world. So yeah, congratulations to everybody, and thank you for having us.
Thanks for jumping in for a chat, and also jumping back in for a chat. Hello, Dan Yeaman, welcome back. It's been 17 hours since we had you here. Thank you for jumping back in for the end and helping me out.
Let's just say I was definitely not expecting to be here until about, what, an hour ago when you said you were still by yourself. And
I desperately needed your help. We'll also hopefully have Scott Rankin coming and joining us as well. So to fill you in on the race, we've just actually, while we were just chatting there to Marco Silva from Motor, we've just seen an overtake here for second in LMP2. So Project Dynamic and Austin Motorsport, we've been going at it, ebbing and flowing. They've been no more than 15 seconds apart since we came live. They're still going at it. You'll be pleased to know that the Mach 1 Esports car is still going in fourth, but Simrings.com and Medicus Kiwi Racing have been separated by no more than 15 seconds for the entire broadcast as well. So that's basically as it was when we left with 18 hours left in the race. The other thing as well is the curse of the leader in LMDH is still going. I think I sent you a message halfway through your other event that you were looking after for me. But doesn't matter who's in the lead. We've now had 6 leaders crash out either through their own fault or just being wrong place, wrong time.
Yes, you did indeed inform me that we had hit number 6, and colour me, well, amused more than anything at this point in the event, because yeah, it does seem that it's like placing a big fat bounty on your own head saying, come and get me. Depending, it can be anything from, as you said, unfortunate accidents with other cars to errors that probably didn't need to be made. So there is, well, that's speaking of things. It's going to be the replay of the past. There we go. I still have enough brain power to figure out what you might be trying to show me here. As yeah, 3 hours of broadcasting V8s at VIR tonight for the V8 Scop series down here in Australia. It's definitely quite. Just as we were finishing up, I was like, I'm feeling it, and Jay's like, I desperately need help, and I'm like, all right then.
I didn't say that. I said desperately. I don't think I said that.
You said you okay. Well,
I think I said really.
You needed my help. And then I said, that's true. You didn't say desperate. I replied with, well, I'm completely fried, and you said 2 fried is better than 1 fried, so.
2 fried people way better than 1.
You focus on the cameras, because I've spent the same time as you focus on cameras, give or take, but hey, at least this way I can just focus on words, presuming I don't suddenly start throwing out the word salad. That's a little wide.
I've been throwing out word salad for 3 hours, 2.5 of it. See, 2.5 of them by myself. We had Jake Sperry and Ryan Jones with us for the first part of the race, and believe it or not, this is someone that's familiar to our channel. They were very civil with each other. It's actually very, very pleasant to be around the two of them.
Wow, indeed.
So there's definitely a bit of that. Believe it or not, I got a compliment from Sperry and from Ryan. So there's something you don't hear every day. But Ryan must be sick, and Sperry, it was early in the morning for him, so that's where we'll go with that.
Okay. I've just whipped out the YouTube stream actually again, so I can get an eye on the YouTube chat and to the wonderful people watching the Split2 broadcast here with us. Thank you, each and every one of you, for supporting us, even as we start to descend into absolute madness here, right when things might be getting a little interesting. Because I've just noticed, apparently, there was a crash for the 36 lmp2 here. We'll just see they've dropped off the back of what's it again? The number 710 Project Dynamic car.
I'm trying to find that. I don't remember seeing it. So I'm trying to see if
First,
it would be a lap mate. I would have.
yeah. Well, first Mulsanne chicane. That we're being told the Daytona chicane. If you had a chance to pull that up. Lovely.
And guess what?
Incoming. Let's have a look at it here.
Amazing what you can find when you know what you're looking for. This is just before they came into the pits. They came into like the pit stop and just a little bit of curve, and I tell you what, that's slower spin. I think positive they can take away with that is they hit very, very flush square on, so it shouldn't have damaged the car too much.
There we go. Mark Custers, we have found you the incident, and that would explain, yes, one, why the right rear corner is a little pushed in, and two, well, how they're back in this scrap with the Project Dynamic car. Yeah, so it's weird.
Strategy.
Okay,
Strategy-wise, I'll fill you in on strategy as well. At the moment, the Not In Vain Racing and the High Caliber eSports car, the High Caliber Auto Sports car, I should say, they are both on exact perfect strategy to pit and make it home exactly on the right lap.
Car on your left.
66 Penguin RC car.
Keep to the right.
They are
Clear on the left.
due to having to serve a penalty for a drive-through driving infringement, which I'll bring up for you in a bit. So that's why they are there. The Alston Motorsport car, it may be okay to make it, but the other two cars in front of them now in lmp2, they may be a lap or two short. GT3, it looks like everyone should be okay to do one more stop.
Yeah, I mean, we are probably about 5 to 6 minutes away from the GT3s being safe to bring it home from here. I could find my times. Oh, so actually, no, sorry, we're about 10 minutes away.
Yeah, I think they're doing about 50 minutes to a stand.
Yeah. Yeah, I went back and found when I crunched the numbers at 12, almost. Oh, wow. I'll just read this off here. 22 hours ago now.
Jeez. A while ago. So that was at midnight?
Yes. 12.
The hard work we were doing at midnight.
12:30 this morning, confirming that GT3's at a 13-lap average on tanks range was about 51 to 52 minutes a stint at the pace they were doing at the start of the race. So yeah.
This is why we had the 66 7-Eleven that they were attempting to overtake. Inside didn't quite make room, and there is car parts strewn everywhere. 7-Eleven has required from the race from there.
See why they might have had to call that one quits. Not to mention just the angle of this incident, unfortunately for that. Oh geez, yeah, it completely rips the body off. And, yeah, I don't think that rear axle was in a good shape anymore.
It wasn't very good.
Funnily enough, so rest in peace, the Project Dynamic 711. I have to say it's a little weird for this final hour. No, we're in it. Not so much because we're in the final hour, but more the fact that I'm just sitting here watching your production feed. I'm used to having my own, being in the server myself and be like, all right, get all my data up and running so I can keep an eye on what's going on here. But it's just like, nah, I'll just go off the prod feed. So
that means I'm going to have to give you as much information as you ask for about the remainder of this race. One interesting thing that's mentioning there, who Tim Marco as he jumped in. We had 54 starters. Yep. 27 cars still running. So
Yeah, perfect.
exactly
50%.
50%. Now, I don't know if you notice as well which car is leading the race at the moment. 440 is leading the race. Now, do you remember where that car started?
Yeah, no.
Last. Remember, they were the only car that didn't do a lap.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh wow.
So they've gone from last to first, but plus from that as well.
And
they also had a drive-through penalty on lap 1.
This car missed the start with the rest of its class, and it got that drive-through for a slowdown at the Dunlop chicane, and it had to then drive through the GT and lmp2 fields.
They were a lap down after about 6 laps, weren't they?
No, I don't think they went a lap down. They just had to drive all the way through the GT3 and LMP2 fields and were like at least 3 minutes off. Now, obviously, the safety car would have helped them out in that opening hour and a half, but that's still had to recover that and then make your way through the field and not die like all the other LMDH cars. That's an achievement in and of itself. 57 minutes, or just under 57. No. The target on the clock.
We're into the magical final hour. We've made it to the important part, and we can see the finish line in sight now, thankfully. It has been a tough slog, so thank you for jumping back in there. It's been great that you had agreed to say, yes, I'll come back in as much as I don't really want to.
My insanity knows no limits, apparently.
I'll let you have Thursday night off.
Oh, that's good, given I had no intention of being on the Thursday night. You've got me on.
You had Thursday night off anyway, that's why I said.
You put me on Wednesdays instead to make up for it. In the meantime, thanks to the Oshankta Sim Events 360 Power Series. That'll be my next broadcast here on SimSpeed TV. For a bit of sideways rumble at Williams Grove Speedway. That'll be an interesting one because that'll be a race. Oh wait, that actually could be interesting indeed.
Have you watched any racing at Williams Grove yet?
Unfortunately, I have not seen a race at Williams Grove yet, which I get the feeling by the sounds of it is a gross error. But what immediately came to my mind was the fact that while we'll have all the new content and the new sim physics for Dirt Refresh, we do have web maintenance that they've had to schedule for Wednesday night, which could be a bit of a spanner in the works. So I have to make sure Mr. Brady Baldwin's on top of that one there. And,
Brady, if you're watching and listening, go and sort that out now and work out your times. The Aston Motorsport car, just been watching them section times.
Yes,
I think
back.
Well, I think they're dropping back on purpose. I think they're saving a dash of fuel to ensure that. Remember how I said I think they're okay for fuel?
Make sure
they're dropping back a little bit, so they're definitely okay on fuel and don't have to make a splash and dash like the two in front of them potentially have to do.
I mean, yeah. Also
car
consider
is the
the
lap
fact
down.
that where's LMDH leader? If we could get a quick 440 again, where are they? They're up the road somewhere.
Yeah, they're up.
Yeah, but the important thing is not to do with the LM. There you go. So coming through Tetra Rouge. Obviously, it's a race, and the race doesn't end until the outright leader takes the checkered flag from the front, or takes the checkered flag.
Car on your left.
So it's all
Clear.
about where that 440 or whichever LMDH it may be come 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 0 seconds on the clock is. Because maybe that could force an extra lap out of our leading LMP2 cars, and that could be interesting. Now, I've just noticed, I feel like the Samsung Canadian Sports cars just lost like 2 seconds to both of the LMP2s behind it.
I feel like
last lap.
Because their last lap was a 340, whereas Alan Newcomb in the Project Dynamic did a 337, so try and work out where that has happened now. I think the question that I've been asking teams and drivers about sleep, how we call my sleep schedule. Ask you, how did you go with your sleep schedule? I know that you had other after you woke up. Did you actually get any sleep after you finished last night?
I can confirm I actually made myself get some sleep. Grand total of 2.5 hours. That is why I'm functioning on plus about 6 hours from Friday night, Saturday morning in an attempt where I decided clever on me would try and break my sleep schedule so I'd feel more awake to do 6 hours overnight. So we are functioning on call it 9 hours maybe of sleep in the past 2 days. And I might want to watch the Spanish Grand Prix after we're done here. I don't know.
I'm going to go and jump in bed and watch the Grand Prix as well. I've just seen a radar, the Grand Prix as well. So
yes.
Some spice. Awesome to chat to these guys earlier as well. The Willie guys came in for a little chat with me about 2 hours ago and confirmed that three of them, two brothers, you've got Fred and Brain now no working, Louis, Illig, and then William Tuffy. They're William, very, very good friend of theirs, so they've raced together, the three of them, just as mates, which I reckon is really cool. That's cool, and that they actually took a little bit of time to come up with the name. Now, I think it's the equal coolest name we've got in the field. Equal coolest.
Okay, so who's the other?
Well, the one that I messaged you that you had a little giggle about. The other one. Yeah, this car for the one.
Oh yes, my brain completely misfired on which was the one. Yeah.
It's very the car Neil Win era, or as it is known when you translate Turkish to English. You haven't been with us for the last couple of hours because we've been giggling about it ever since. It means single mothers looking to win. It's very, very fun. So well done to teams that are able to not take themselves too seriously. I think that's the cool thing about these events, because there is a lot of seriousness involved in these events. You can have a bit of fun with it too. I think that's.
That car is a lap down.
That is the case. There's just checking Alex Bird's been put back behind the wheel of the Mark 1 Esports wheel. I think now, here, this lap here, if they need to, come in and hit. If you can do one more lap for insurance policies, with again the LMTH leader and where they're at, that would be nice on the cake. Indeed, Alex Bird will do a little fake into the pit lane. As with many a GT3 car.
Right side.
Hop.
Clear on the right.
Can confirm that stint now is on lap 12, so when he comes into the pits at the end of this lap, it'll be his 13th lap, so he's going to do that perfectly. The downfall is that everyone around him will do a splash and dash, so any ground that he gains now is going to lose back to that extended pit stop. But the other side of that is, it means he can safely take a set of tyres and it not cost him any more time. The other cars around him, the other cars in front of him, they have a decision to make. Do they pit, take the extra time to take 4 tyres? 5. Do they pit and just take enough fuel to get it home?
2. 1.
So while Bird may lose 15 seconds, he could gain that back very quickly in the last 6 laps of the race with fresh tyres, as opposed to everyone else who's coming in and double stinting tyres, which we know since, 2 or 3 builds ago. The GT3 tyres, double stinting, is not as easy as it was, and triple stinting now no longer exists.
Yeah, it's very tough. It can be done here at all places.
Can it be done when your car is 23.25 hours into a race with little bits of damage, fatigued drivers and things like that?
That is another question. What are we also looking at temperature-wise at this point?
It's currently 39.4, so it's been fluctuating between 39 and 42 for the last 2.5 hours. There's been a lot of clouds over the circuit as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that if you try and double stint your tyres, you are a special kind of crazy. So, also fill me in if we can. was actually perhaps the stint length, the last pit stop lap potentially for GT cars. It'd be great.
So yeah, there's
a number of stops.
Pit stops. How cool is that? We've just seen our 40th pit stop for the Willage car. That's cool. Let's go last pit stop lap. There we go.
All right, and
so
I don't know what lap these GT cars.
I can tell you that.
Yeah, there's also a stint. We can also
Let's do that. It's a much better.
So, okay. Yeah, 6 laps. Okay, yeah. So yeah, they're gonna. So those top 3 cars, all right. They have 6 laps of fuel, maybe even 7 laps of fuel.
7 to make sure that they get it done properly.
Yeah. Oh, yes, indeed. That is much easier. Thank you. All right, so let's run some numbers. So there's 6.
You're getting the pen and paper out.
No, I'm just going to do this in my head. So 6 to 7 laps at Le Mans, quite literally half a tank. So we're looking at around 50 odd litres, which is going to mean the teams that need fuel and take 7 laps of fuel, they can probably at Becca and Ariel.
Single mum's car. I think we're just going to have to go with that, with how long there is left in the race. We can't keep saying that. Well, at least I can't. My brain just doesn't work. We do. We could do that. I'm curious. We do know that we've got the Delta V guys in the YouTube chat. Maybe after the Mach 1 car comes into the pits, they might be able to tell us what their thinking is around whether they take tyres or not in the last stop. Because you look at the difference in pace here. Alexander Bird, we know from our experience here in the AusNZ community how quick he is. He's probably one of the fastest GT3 drivers in Australia and New Zealand. Of course, he used to race for Vendaval Sim Racing when that program was on, so he is very quick.
Yeah, absolutely. The star power of the Mark 1 Esports number 46 car that's here at the Majors 24. And so for the Delta V, the Arvensis cars that are a lap ahead and need to put in probably 6 laps of fuel.
Yeah.
Maybe 7.
Maybe 7. I think 6.
If they do 7, they can take tyres and cover it.
I'm saying
if they go with 6, it's like maybe a handful of seconds because 6 laps is almost half a tank.
We're looking at 12 laps to go from here, so it may even be 5 laps.
And yeah, in that case, if it's only 5 laps of fuel, if it's 5 laps of fuel, okay, then you're talking probably, given the fuel burner, and here we're talking probably 5 or 6 seconds lost stationary, waiting for tyres to finish up. In that case,
you risk it.
Thing is, so Mark 1 was on the bumper of Delta V. They're going to lose about 20 seconds in fuel here in the final stop sequence. Yeah, can the Delta V car afford to fall back by 5 seconds but give itself fresh tyres, or does it need to give itself every advantage it can in terms of the shortest possible stop?
We saw how quickly the Mach 1 car closed in. Remember we looked at it, it was about 4.5 seconds back, and all of a sudden it was right on the rear wing, so it closed in that gap very, very quickly. Have we got a battle here too? This is 2 cars that are about to come into the pits. This is for the podium in LMP3, LMP2. I told you my brain was not working. Don't worry, Sperry and I both said LMP1 for the LMDHs earlier.
Fond memories.
What a time that was. Oh, we've got the Willie car coming in once again. Came in about 10 laps ago. That's okay.
Okay, so they just happen to be about 2
laps right on
short.
Sequence.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe a lap short. My timing's now saying 13 laps to go. My timing might be... Oh, actually, that could be because as I'm switching between classes, it's changing the number of laps. Now that I've gone here, so that's not saying 11 laps for these guys, 11 and a half laps to go. I'll go to this class, it's saying 13 laps to go. That works out if we do some sums.
It does, yeah. That checks out, roughly. Alright, so 13 to go as they cross the line. Yeah, well, for the Norton Vane. Actually, for this car here, specifically the high caliber Aura Sports.
You're on the same strategy as
the same strategy. Yeah, it's just... I mean, yeah, they're crossing the line. So let's go, 13 there at the line.
They're on their 10th lap now, so they'll do 2 more laps, which will get them to 11 to
Car
go,
on your left.
11 on their stint.
That's an easy done for
Keep to the right. Clear.
There. It's just a question of who's got the speed.
The GT3 class is the one that we know everyone is going to do splash and dash. Yeah, the LMP2 class, I think everyone is going to be maybe 1 lap short. The Samsung Canaan car
is
in the pits.
And I'm calling them 2 laps short here, Joe.
No, I think you might.
That car is a lap down.
Short, but the one car that was able to get 11 laps out of their previous stint is this one here, the Outson Motorsport car. They got 11 laps to the stint on the previous stint. So
car on your left.
Was able to stretch out the
clear
to 11, and if you can do 11 again, that leaves him with 10 for the end. So
he needs it. That car needs it.
And that'll win in the race if they do that.
Yep, that should do it. They can afford to then basically back the field up at that point.
That goes out, yeah.
Well, shout out to Jay from Robert Radion TV. Apparently also pulling 12 hours of production in the booth for the split 3 coverage of the major series, and indeed
Rob and I haven't left our seats for what feels like 3 days. Rob, hopefully your stream is going as successfully as ours. Hopefully you've got a bit of a grandstand finish like we're about to have. I know that some of the other events haven't quite.
Left side.
Some of the other splits haven't had the grandstand.
Clear on the left.
That we're looking like we're going to get, but these sort of races can somehow. We've talked about it before in the major series. Somehow the races seem like they've gone into a real lull with nothing happening, and then all of a sudden, bang, action aplenty. You don't know where to look. I don't think we're going to get the action aplenty, but we definitely don't know which class we're going to have to look at over the next little bit, because they're all.
You got a slow car on the right.
Very, very interesting.
That car is a lap down.
LMP2 and GT3.
Right side, clear on the right.
I think at GT3, I think it's a game of can the Mark 1, can Alex Bird get that Mark 1 BMW back on the podium? I don't think, unfortunately, there's any much more. It's we have further 15 seconds to find second, and then if he could find 35 seconds in the final stint where he's got half a tank more fuel that he's put in the car, that's insane. Quiet but content, Joe. Is the answer from split 2. Ready.
And it isn't a bad thing. I know the guys over at GSRC, they're having a very quiet end to their race as well, but we might find that is a storm, isn't it? It's not necessarily. It's quiet for good reasons.
I mean, who knows? We've got. I mean, it's this game of quiet, and everyone's just making sure they get to the finish. Quiet because cars are working on strategy here and trying to, just hit their numbers. Speaking of hitting their numbers, that Outson car is doing what the job it needs to do. But look at the clock. A little wide. Yeah, LMDH car, which one of them is that again?
It's really slow motion racing.
That's right. RSMR.
Now we also, while you've been gone, we found out what BRT stands for.
That's a good idea.
Basic race team.
Basic race team. That checks out.
Makes perfect sense, does it not? With Basic Ollie in the car. Basic Ollie's been doing a lot of laps, so he may actually end up being one of the drivers that on the Western.
That car is a lap down.
Third lap. I'm going through to find who has done the most laps. I think it is Mads Jensen. Currently on his 163rd lap. It's personal laps, obviously. Don't see anyone else in the 160s. I see a 150 though, so that Fred Illig in the Willig car. He's on his 150th and 51st lap in this race now. It's a good effort to do that many laps in one of those races.
100% that is. Important.
You know me, I don't think I could do
left side.
Race.
That car is a lap down. Still there, hold your line.
Probably a lap short.
Still there, hold your line. On this clear.
It's final stint. They've got 11 laps to go from my maths, and my lap timing is also saying 11 laps. So, and they do 11 again. they may have only had favourable conditions in regards to getting draft that got them to that 11 before. So will they do 11? I think this car can't do 12 because we haven't seen 12 all race long. We've only seen 11.
Yeah, no, 10 is the full speed burn of LMP2 here in current trim. 11 is a safe burn. 12 is
the leader's pitting now. Car ride.
We aren't getting those because we're 8 minutes out from
clear.
Could you imagine? Just they've rolled the dice on safety cars. We've only had 2 cautions, right?
We've had 4. No, we've had all 4.
You've used all 4, so there you go. Yeah, there is
so
no.
There's no more cautions. We had 2 overnight. We've had 2 on the broadcast.
There you go. That's pretty handy there indeed.
You're in 4th position.
So yeah, there is no saving grace by virtue of cautions. I just imagine if the random generator spewed out 5 minutes before the cutoff period.
Yeah, 33 minutes left in the race and bit out the last safety car. I'm sure that a couple of our other broadcasters may be hoping for that to get a bit of action happening. Would spice up the race for sure, but we're not going to see that in this one, which I think we need. We've had plenty of action as the really slow racing car is in. Not in vain is also in to make their
that should be good.
Last stop. Yep, 11 laps to go. I'm seeing 37 minutes left on the clock. 11 laps remaining in this race. 69. Out the Finnish Endurance Academy car. They've had a bit of a tale of woe in this race, but positive as they are continuing. Now, I don't know if I told you in message before, we had a car come back out.
We did.
After serving
14
and a half hour pit stop.
Yeah, I'm actually gobsmacked that someone said, yes, this car, we're bringing this car back out. We're half a race behind.
I think that's commitment to come back out, but they only lasted 9 laps before they brought the car back in, so it was obviously fairly heavily damaged. Just they brought that car back in.
That car is a lap down.
I've just noticed in regards to pit stop times, the pit stop time track is maybe a little bit askew, but what you can look at is the pit lane delta.
Car on your left. Clear on the left. That car is a lap down.
Short field the car to not make that final pit stop as splash and dash might mean that they've got enough time in the next pit stop, maybe take 2 tyres to cover off that 10-second stop.
Car on your left.
Maybe. I mean, they did come in a lap earlier. That could, to be honest, to me, that also looks like a possibility of just
10 laps versus 11 lap stints. Well,
they
both did 10. So.
On that last one, they both only did 10.
Yeah, they both did 10 on the last pit stop.
Okay, that's a short field then, yeah. Because to me, I'm sitting there being like, is that not possibly partially a difference of having basically about a lap difference in field? Just catching up there with what you guys are suggesting about. Oh, hey, but you had a confirmation.
Great work. I mean, if you're gonna crash out of the race, go and have a sleep. Come back and see if the car's completely stuffed, and if it is, go back to sleep. I mean, I'm thinking back to the one top split of an iRacing special event I got into. We made the first ever top split of, there we go, confirming the rears at the last stop. So yeah, to short field the car so they can take rears at the pit stop. Look, I worked it out then. Thank you, Mark. The one
you cut that corner and got a slow down penalty.
Special event I ever made iRacing, the very, very first 24-hour race in iRacing, we made top split. The Daytona 24. It's myself in the talking car with Sandman and the rest of the talk crew. We had 5 drivers, and I didn't get in the car.
Awesome.
So the race started at midnight our time. I was due to get in the car maybe 2 a.m. The car was already crashed out by the time I got to get in the car.
That's what we call unlucky.
That's what we call classic racing, including Jay Kennedy.
Delta B back to the pit lane in GT3.
Yes. that's 10 laps to the stint. So
okay, so that's short, but yeah, get the stop done. It has to be obviously okay, and you got where is that?
This car.
There they are. And yeah, where are they in relation to Delta V? Price. 395 and 46.
12 seconds. Oh, that's the wrong number. Let's try that again.
Yeah, it's 305.
12 seconds.
Yeah, I think Alex Bird might just decide that P3 is his and he's not letting go of that objective.
Bird may have the pace to get that done. But we will see. I mean, traffic could play a factor.
Oh yeah, it could. I just think half an hour to go. We're talking. Yeah, we're talking. Someone Alex Bird's got, and he's now got the what's that team name again? Waiting for sharp, basically the timing tower, the 83. It's Blocco Motore. Sorry for that, guys. Team names. Indeed, I did catch the end of that one there with a team principal. Glad to be able to have it. Indeed. But yeah, where was I going with this line? Turn of phrase.
I have no idea.
Traffic, yes, could be a thing, but I mean, look at this here. It's the free tow for Alex Bird down the second part of the Malta. He won't quite get there. He's just going to roll out and use the tow for the. No, let's set that back. He's on a mission. He's going to throw it up the inside of the second part of the second chicane.
He used the draft while he could to save fuel, and then when it come time to be aggressive again, put down and made the overtake. So doing both, so saving that splash of fuel to make sure he doesn't have the stress in the slightest come to the end of the race. Also using the draft, using the pace that he's got to close down the gap, which is currently at 12 seconds.
Yeah, half an hour to go. Even if it is the race of the Mon and these cars are lapping in the 340 somethings, I get the feeling that's the same car, so thank you. There we go.
Yeah, I clicked the wrong button again. My brain has honestly stopped. I'm looking at names. I can't read the timing screen anymore. My eyes are so sore.
So in other words, I'm going to need to call out everything I want and just
potentially
slowly just make sure we get things that we need.
I'm just going to walk a little bit here. This is how they come from 40. Or coming out of Indianapolis.
Walk. Speaking of which, there's also our 395 BMW there, if I'm not mistaken. It's trying to hang on to third place. At the back of this little quartet, which obviously fans out thanks to the fact it's an LMDH, an lmp2, and 2 GT3. So arriving at Indianapolis here, that's the 997. Well, that's the Netrix Mercedes. It's the one Mercedes. Ah, yes. I can see it's a bit of a walk there indeed.
Now, it's the absolute wrong place at the wrong time, isn't it? There's not many places you'll lose a huge amount of ground. That is the one part if you catch a car at the wrong spot, the braking zone at the wrong spot, the corner exit at the wrong spot, you just can't get through. Unfortunate, but I mean, I'm not really worrying too much. It's still got a 42-second advantage at this stage.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, pace per lap is the least of their concerns. And that looking after the car is a much higher priority for them at this stage as we're looking back at the...
Now that number there, bringing up, that is their last pit stop lap number. 2 laps difference. They're currently on lap 370. 371, I should say. No, 370. I'll take that back again. It's a 4 lap stint, 2 lap stint so far. We're thinking that Project Dynamic car, I think it's 1, maybe 2 laps short.
I would be surprised if they are not. By every metric that we've got our hands on right now, they should be at least 1 lap short.
Yeah, possibly probably 2 because they pitted a lap prior to the Samso Canaan car, which we know is coming in for a smash and dash. They pitted afterward, knew that they couldn't make it, so we know that this car has to stop again. So Mads Jensen in the Aston Motorsport car, they could come on and steal a win here.
Yeah, 23 seconds.
They're not out of this.
And what, we're talking, 10 seconds stationary for 2 tyres on an LMP2 at the moment? Or thereabouts?
Yeah, I'm thinking that'd be about right. So 10-second stop, so 25-second transit of the lane. That puts them pretty close together, doesn't it?
The biggest problem is it puts them that close together that then suddenly Mads is going to have to crank the hammer down on...
And then maybe won't have enough to save the extra lap of fuel that he needs, so... We're up for a grandstand finish either way.
Yeah, this could be interesting. Well, 100% is interesting, and it's now just starting to get to ratchet up. This car needs to get closer, but it also needs to save fuel.
Needs to catch some draft at the exact perfect time.
Go fast, save fuel, no pressure. Whilst also, having at the moment also basically no draft to do so with.
And don't crash the car by pushing too hard.
Yeah, that too. Actually, make sure you bring it home in P3 at the worst. And well, quick look here at the pit stop comparison, and there you go. Alex Bird's already taken 2 seconds or thereabouts out of the Delta V Racing car. Yeah, that comes back in the high 350s.
Put that graphic up and it means absolutely nothing.
Hey, look. The other car just came out of the pit, so I'll forgive you.
11 seconds. So come back to that in a couple of laps and see where it's at. But
well, actually,
I think that is not done. There's actually one more battle I don't think that we haven't through. Yeah. Here is the single ladies, single mums.
We're having far too much fun with that.
I'm having to have brain functioning in a way that will get me through the end of this race because my brain has stopped working, and it stopped working around about, 23.5 hours ago. I nearly said 23 years ago, and that still would have been true. So, this is closing down.
Rocket Graphics and Bright Esports. Okay. 3 minutes 23. No, thank you. I was going to say that.
Graphics just having a little bit of a fit because they're about to be lapped by the outright leader. I think in the last lap time.
Rocket Graphics faster than Bright Esports.
So the previous lap to that, the reverse. So the lap previous, the Bright Esports only at 36.
Okay.
This isn't done.
Not in the slightest, no. Alright then, so we've got pure pace race.
First, second, third still to decide. Fourth and fifth still to decide. GT3 is, who knows? Well, who knows? It could all still change with how many pit stops are left over.
Actually, hang on a second. Single mums.
They just made their pit stop.
Yeah, but the fact is they've only come out 8 seconds ahead. Do not count Alex Bird out of stealing P2.
Yep. Well, they've taken 4 tyres at the stop, though. They've come in, splash and dash, taken 4 tyres.
So they've gone. They reckon they have got enough time in hand to protect against an Alex Bird on full tilt. Whereas the Delta V car seems to have just gone for the fuel it needs to get home. Alex Bird, please appear in picture just to prove my point that you're not far away. There you are. The blue coming over the top of there. Look at that there, 1.3 seconds. He might need a little more than that, but he's definitely going to catch the Delta V car at that rate.
He'll at least catch, won't he? Then it'll be a real fight to the end, probably on the last lap. You feel like that's where it's going to be. As long as he doesn't get balked by traffic at the wrong spot and Delta V car is able to not get held up as well. Get the traffic on its side if it goes in their favour and against the favour of the Mach 1 car, they won't catch. But if it's vice versa, it's well and truly on. Question: are we going to get to the lap 400? Well, we're currently on lap number 386, so we're going to be short by around about 8 laps. We're going to get, I think,
Left side.
392, maybe 393.
Keep to the right. Clear on the left.
Cautions be gone by the sounds of it. We would have had our 400 laps.
We would have got just probably maybe 397 if we didn't have like issues with the wave around them.
Yeah, that was. I mean, that was definitely interesting. I mean, yeah, just the momentary gremlins of running.
There were gremlins, which they did acknowledge that they had some gremlins, so they did. Use that to learn for the other splits. They were able to get them.
Yeah, what was it? Yeah.
The rest of the races, so.
Yeah, our first caution was the first caution of the Majors 24 this year. And yeah, just when in doubt, well, one, make sure everyone knows you're under caution. Apparently that was an issue in another split. Apparently another race leader just didn't get the memo. But then also, know where you're.
A fair few protests come in over our way as well overnight. A lot of them just for racing incidents. Racing incidents. We haven't had anything in our race here for a fair while. So, last incident we thought penalty come from around about 4.5 hours ago. So, it's positive. We have seen a couple of incidents. I've been taking out the RT car for a few laps, which is why they're now 3 laps down. That was a very, very heavy impact, and we also took out the 17 car, the Project Dynamics 713, Project Academy car, which got a replay of a big incident. You have not seen it.
Right then, I'm speaking of the Discord, I decided to immediately just start crunching through whatever. What's up?
I've had issues with the Majors Discord with so many threads and things happening. It's hard to play. So the high caliber esports, high caliber auto sports car, and the VRT car.
Oh, hello. Oops, daisies. Oh, and punt from a GT3 Beamer.
Yeah, the 713 came in with nowhere to go and made very, very heavy punt. 39 car, basically. Finale at the wheel at that time. There was no protest lodge for that. I think I'll look back when it was. Yeah, the impact from the car was so. Maybe you'll notice car will come around, there's that little wall there, you can't see where the cars are at that point, it's almost blind.
Oh, it is, yeah, if you're not aware, if you're not being told in advance what's going on by a spotter or something, yeah, it's a very hard, maybe you catch a glimpse of the rear cars, but
look, he's on the brakes, bang.
Sorry, I'm looking up the broadcast. That'll make sure. Yeah, don't get
the live info instead of the delayed info.
Yeah, that'd be good because my YouTube feed is delayed by about 25 seconds. And
clear on the right.
It'd be a bit of a sloppy broadcast if I was all of a sudden talking out of whack. Actually, I just see it there up on the YouTube feed. Yeah, so you can see it starting to happen, but by that point, he's fully committed when it happens.
And he's on the brakes, and you can just come up in time.
There is just nowhere to go. The accident starts after the commitment point for a normal entry for the GT3 car, unfortunately, indeed. All right, back to prod feed, so I don't suddenly start barking up about things that have already happened in the past, and getting this stream and all kinds of wacko. We've somehow made it 41.5 minutes since, or call it 42 minutes or whatever since I joined. So, hey, we're doing all right. Just looking at there at the gap between the Samsung Canaan and Outson Motorsport cars. Yep, yeah, Alex Bird just reminding us all here. Yeah, a casual 2 seconds a lap, and we'll see if that continues on. Yeah, he is running out of time in the sense that what we're doing only 4-minute laps, so we've got about 4 minutes, actually 5 laps to go for GT3, and then maybe a 6th, depending on the LMDH leader. That rate? Oh yeah, he's easy got. Actually, no, he genuinely has a chance of getting 2nd. But what's the rated closure on number? Could we compare number 41 to 46 to see if he's also gaining 2 seconds or thereabouts on the single mums? I hate myself for adopting this. Oh, that's not good. Okay, so try 3 seconds gain. At that rate.
3 seconds gain and 13-second gap. He's there, isn't he?
Yeah, he's gone.
He's not only there, he's past him, isn't he?
He is up the road and taking the P2 spot to the bank in the Mark 1 BMW instead of number 41 car here.
See, pit stops have been made for the Motofrost 1, 83, Motor,
car ride. Still there, hold your line. Clear on the right.
DPR, I think, has made their final stop. Yeah, all of the GT3s have now made their final pit stop.
Alright then.
On the run home now.
GT3s, yeah, it's a straight race, so it's just a game of, who's got the most, the speed. Arvensis Racing, their race to lose in that category. Bit of spice, though, in that lmp2 class. Gap is slightly bulged out to 25 seconds. As this is the really slow motion racing car. I think I can remember this now. That's the curb on entry. Is this going to be
walk there?
Walked, then tried
to make the move again, and the walk again. So 2 attempts to make the overtime. The walk twice.
I mean, kind of funny because from that angle there, it looks like they just didn't bother going for it. And I know I should have said, okay, you don't stuff it. Let's wait till we get out of here, and then we can press on. And that way, there's like 0 drama or risk.
Big thing is they've got minute and a half. They've got a full lap to catch up to gain a spot, and they've got a full lap behind to lose a spot. So they've got no issues on the position. They can just cruise it on home.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate the thumbs up, I guess you can call it. Half of the nation. If I'm saying.
Blocko Motor. That's Marco coming back in to fill us in on them pushing this thing off, which didn't ask for. They're going to finish the car off, the team founder, and actually gained a spot outright too. Don't know if you noticed that in the last little bit. You've actually passed one of the cars in the H class that's not completed the race, the ST Racing car, which that 588 car was looking like it was in contention early on too, and it also succumbed to issues throughout this race.
Well, look, yeah, don't tell me about the number of LMDH cars today that...
It was a leader at one point, so that was number 6.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, you led the race, and someone has now decided that you deserve the shadow realm. It feels like. That is true. But yeah, watching the gap between the number 7 Samsung Canaan Esports car and that 36 Outson Motorsport, it's growing slightly as a result, presumably, of Jensen there in 3rd place at lmp2 having to mind his pace, whereas Zach Ratte White, who I usually associate with another team completely, not Samsung.
Quality.
Yeah, quality, that's the one. Yep.
Quality. This is what happened with 588.
Oh, you just... That's again! That's not the 3rd LMDH that's done that exact same flick spin, except that one didn't touch grass before spinning.
And absolutely destroyed the race. Well, that car was retired from the race.
They are
these
made
gaps here now, these...
hello. 395 is catching 41. And then we have the freight train that is... Well, the bullet train that is Alex Bird for the most part, although the Delta gains... Okay, there we go. That, yep. Just a casual 1 second on... This could get very interesting. Yeah, he's gained 2.5 on P2, and he needs that kind of gain from here on out to be in position for that. But that 395 has just stepped up the tempo a little bit, which is going to make things a little difficult.
I think it matters that Bird isn't catching the 395 as fast as he was originally hoping, because
it's now about the
395 is going to get held up anyway.
It's now the race to catch the 41, yeah.
They both are catching at the same rate. It doesn't matter because they're going to get held up once they hit there. But yeah, this is going to get very, very interesting. Into the pits comes the Samsung Canaan racing car, and have a look at who now leads. It's the Project Dynamic car leading the race. They still have to pit, and it will probably pit at the end of this lap. This is the real race on track. Alston Motorsport now take the effective race lead in class, and by a decent margin too.
Oh, that's a lot worse than what we were thinking. The delta would be like 25. No, that's not a 25-second delta. That's going to be, about 12, 13, maybe even 15 seconds. That Alston Motorsport car can afford to get on the anchors, back out now, and make sure you're good on. Make sure you're good on fuel for when the contest comes at the end of the race.
This is going to be a very interesting battle.
This is now where Mads Jensen needs his teammates to initiate big brain mode and make sure that he is good to go when the fight comes, because it's coming. It will come. That Samsung Canaan car, as they said, took rear tyres. They will be quick. So this Alston Motorsport car needs to allow them... Well, it sounds weird. Be like, yeah, slow down. Let them catch up, kinda. Well, if they catch up a little. If they catch up whilst you're fuel saving, that's fine. If they catch up at the end when you, well, it's about when you're fuel saving, not if you're fuel saving. If they catch you with 10, like in the next 5 minutes, whilst you're fuel saving, that's okay. If they catch you on the final lap of the race, and you're still fuel saving, we've got problems. Because possibly what happens here is, I mean, the gap is 15 seconds. Like, that seems really hard. Really hard. Make up. From here on out, I'm pretty sure. This person could probably lose like 4 seconds a lap and still be okay in the Alston car versus the Samsung Canaan car. I'm going with that. If they're tired on fuel, they can just bulk sacrifice lap time, and they will still be in this. And they need to make sure they do that. I think there's no point waving the white flag and pitting for that 36. Commit now.
They have to commit. It's all out now. They've got to go for it. They've got no other option. They've made their bed. They've got to try and get this car home, even if it coughs in the Ford chicane on the last lap. They've still got to push and try and make it. They've got no other option. We'll see where the lap time goes once we get the Samsung Canaan back up to full speed in a couple of laps. It looks like everyone now has pitted except for the one car here, the 710 Project Dynamic 710. Only car left to pit that's in for a potential podium position in the entire field. Will it come in this lap? I'm going to say yes, because this is the end of the 10th lap in the stint. He'll drive the car home to the end. You'd say that Ollie Newton will stay in the car, you would think. But Luca Becker is waiting actually to jump in as well.
There's no way that... There's no way... Yeah, that's going to be pretty close. But no, Newcomb has to stay in the car if they want any hope of being close in case something happens. Driver change, 30 seconds gone. You might as well leave, you need to leave Ollie in here, just let him, and it's only going to be, what, 3 laps from here for this car, so, yeah. Well, that's what I think, so LMDH leader, where would they be right at, roughly? Okay, that Samsung Canaan car has caught 1.2 seconds, it's coming out since I last checked it out of the pits. So they're trying to catch, that's not enough. out some car if you need to. Slow down more. You've got time. You can still afford to burn nearly 4 seconds a lap and you'll still be safe. Replay time. That's the basic racing team.
Yep.
Chasing
23 hours and 51 minutes born in the race. The race is over.
Oh no!
That's a...
Is that a tyre block or a sim hardware shutdown / computer failure?
That's something that...
You cut that corner and got a slow down penalty.
Painful to see. Fernell, basic Ollie, he will be heartbroken because all they wanted to do was get the car home. They were on for a top 5. Dream is done. It's very heartbreaking.
You know, that's weird. That doesn't actually look like a steering wheel failure because, like, steering wheels, like sim steering wheels, when they fail, will like will hard over to one direction or another. That's like the rear suspension just broke on that car. Okay, on board. Thank you very much for actually getting set. So, cool. Yeah, unless he relaxed his grip and the force feedback jolted that thing out of his hands. I'm actually honestly inclined to believe that could be an actual in-sim damage failure.
You know, a few people have been watching him on Twitch throughout the race, so if any info around what's going on there, really can't come to F on a stop. This battle group now, 8-1 for the single mum's car. Field racing car does 7-8, 6-3, 1.5 second advantage for Alexander Bird in that one esports car over the Delta V, but both of them advantage over the 7th place car. This is going to be a very, very interesting end of the race. Where is the race leader? The race leader is catching up with these guys. These guys have only got 2 laps left. This may just be enough for, hold on, single ladies. Single mums.
Yeah, single mums.
Look, it's been too long an event. We started these broadcasts 20 and a quarter hours ago. 24 and a quarter hours ago. The brain no work.
The brain no worky, come on.
Well, look, see, it doesn't worky that well that I can't even say the words right.
Okay, so where's LMDH leader?
LMDH leader is just coming past the Australia racing. It's just coming up to the Ford chicane now.
Right, so it still has 2 laps to do.
Yes, but it is going to pass these guys probably at the end of this lap.
So they still have 2 laps to go. That's actually basically irrelevant because it's just right. So Alex Bird's got 2 laps to potentially catch, and the number 41 has finally found some pace. It's still 1.6 seconds off Bird's lap time, but the 41 is now stalled out its time loss, and yeah, with only 2 laps left to do it. Where is Bird compared to these 2 ahead? He's not showing up on the ticker.
What are you looking for?
I can see what I need to see, and actually, I think both of those cars ahead of him are going to hang on by the skin of their teeth. And I might have overhyped the pace of Alex Bird in this Mark 146.
I mean, if he gains 1.5 seconds a lap, that puts him there through the Ford chicane.
If that's what it ends up being, yes, that is true. Oh,
he's got to make a move too, doesn't he? He's got to try and get through.
He's got to have time to be able to try and set something up, and once you're at the Ford chicanes, there's no time to set something up. Yes, so they actually could just end up finishing sort of in this roughly 4-second intervals here, 2nd, 3rd, 4th in. Okay, Kanan. Ooh, okay, yep, they've caught another 2 seconds since I last checked in on the Delta, but that's okay. Outson can afford this. Are they behind the outright race leader? They are. They are. So they're going to get white flag. What? They're good. They get white flag this time by.
They will, yeah. So as long as they've got enough fuel in the car.
And they can afford to burn 10 seconds if they need to.
The price is going to be completely separate. The GT class leader, who are a minute or so clear anyway. So it's looking positive. Our last pit stop, second last pit stop in the race, being completed right now. That's the Dynamic Academy 712. They will complete 6th place in the race. They will not have time to get past the BRT car even after FNL basically has made that error. Error is probably not fair, is it? Had the issue.
It's some kind of
had to be some sort. There's no way that the car would go as it did. This Valkyrie got car. They tried to stretch it out, but they're going to be 1 lap short. They're on their 11th.
That car is a lap down.
And as we said before, we haven't seen anyone do more than 11. 10 has been the normal number. Occasionally 11 we've seen. We're going to see the Aston car try and do 11 now, but they've got 9 seconds that they can back up that car to fuel save. GT3, 6 seconds, not quite enough for Mach 1 Esports to steal a podium at the moment, but one mistake could be all they need.
Coming through to lap.
Car ride.
One of those cars that could just
Clear.
set things. 2 minutes is all that remains on the clock, but we will get ourselves an extra minute and a half or thereabouts of racing action as the Not In Vain Racing Orange LMDH will see the white flag here at the timing stands. But Barney, this is lap what? Number what now?
This is lap 393 of this race.
There you go, 393.
Hearing it was a screen issue, a screen stutter for FNL, and basically that makes a lot of sense.
That too, actually, unfortunately, makes sense, which kind of sucks for them. As we see here, Mark 1 Esports can smell just on the edge of their senses here, this P3 position in class. A recovery drive, if ever there has been one in this category. You've got the lmp2 leader in shot, and they've actually gained time on Sanford Canaan.
Gained about a second. So they've had a bit of luck go in their way in regards to traffic, I think. Yeah, so
and if they're desperate, they can
white flag,
just drive off the BMWs.
Yeah, so the 7 car got held up by a little bit of traffic from the Australia wide car. Just caught them at the wrong place, wrong time. But Bird needs to gain a smidge. He just needs a tiny little bit. If he gets a tiny little bit more, he will be in the draft. Will then be enough for him to close.
We're going to need rubber soon.
Really
Take it easy now.
It's not quite in draft range yet. Saying that, he could use the advantage here of the LMP2 leader, Mads Jensen, to maybe close that gap down quicker.
Follow P2, it'll give a little bit of a pull along here. And this is critical. The question is, okay, LMP2 says, out of my way, please, coming through. As a 77, indeed. One lap. Pretty tough there. Let's mark one in. So this is the problem though, it's 36 now, it's going to give that little bit of toe, although it's in this acceleration phase where the car doesn't need it as much. So this might just be what Alex Bird needs to see, is that LMP2 checking off up the road before the slipstream really becomes valuable here. And the 41, the single mums machine.
It's safe now, isn't it?
It is safe. And there is Samsoy Kanara in the background, but it's only made back about a second at the time. It's time that the gap was when we started this final lap. Round the Mulsanne corner we go. I feel like we need to check in. Where is our LMDH leader? Are they getting close?
Just come through Indianapolis, so they're okay.
All right. We'll check in with them in about 30 seconds time. All of that will go split screen on all of this. Look at this now. Delta V are nervous. They need to break the toe. We've got one more high-speed stretch to come. Arnage to the Porsche curves. What does Bird have left in this thing? It's coming down to the very end of this race. Every apex needs to be hit. Every brake marker nailed. Throw all caution to the wind in some respects. I don't think he's going to make it, Jay. I think he's one straight short. One straight short. of the slipstream he needs to catch that cup. It would have to be an error through the Porsche curves, but they're not in vain. Racing Orange starting last in the LMDH class gets a drive-through penalty, nearly a lap down.
Good drive, TV.
On the field, turns it around.
Yes.
And they will be your split
Thank
two
you for
winners
all
of the
the
Majors
pubs from
24
the LMP2s.
in 2023.
It's been a pleasure,
Congratulations,
especially the LMPH. You guys
the
are very
boys
good at hunting.
in the number 440 machine. And the Outson Motorsport LMP2 has made
Battle
the gambit
P3,
work.
P4,
Mads Jensen
GT3,
brings it
also
through the Ford chicanes, and he can celebrate winning the LMP2
Right,
class
fine,
here, the
Johan, that
second
was
split
fucking epic.
of the Majors 24. As we come to the full game. Oh, he's so close, Alex. Oh, error!
Good
This could
race,
be injury.
everyone.
Oh, it's actually coming down to a drag race off the Ford
One more lap
chicanes.
there,
And
Alex.
he's, at the bumper. But the Delta V BMW will hang on to the final position.
We're going to need
On the
rubber soon.
podium in
Take it easy now.
GT3. What, .128? Almost cracked.
To all the clean racing from the GT3s.
Under that
It's
pressure,
been
they're
fun.
in deep.
Thank you.
Watching it back on the YouTube feed.
Right side.
And how that
Clear
was
on the
so
right.
close to the end. And it leaves us now with our final class winner, completing one more lap than the rest of the field, thanks to
Yeah, well
just the
done on your
position
first
of the
24 hours.
LMDH
Car
leader.
51.
But the Arvenzis Racing, number 28. As we actually have a look here at a replay of it, so we'll see
Well
the 41
done,
take
everyone.
second
Check a
place.
flag. Check a flag.
The Samsung Kanan takes second
Yeah.
LMP2, and then off the
Hey,
finish
Glenn
line,
Watkins.
Solid work.
Alex Bird. He just needed that one more bit
Yeah,
of
mate,
straight
yeah,
line.
our teammate and Split 10 coming
Maybe even
on the
that
stream and took
LMP2
it
might
out.
have just been able to Mads Jensen and the LMP2.
Yeah, I just
To
got
have
a
just
question.
got
Are
to
you
him
going to
a little
drive
bit
the
sooner, so it
event
would have cleared
that's between
the
16th and 18th of June?
Oh, Delta V's car number. I forget what car number.
Yeah,
395
mate,
in
we'll be there.
GT3.
395.
I'll be there.
Well done.
Just clear them a little bit
No,
sooner
because
through that
it's
second Mulsanne
6 hours
chicane
of,
and just give them a little
Watkins
bit less
Glen, right?
toe. But
6 hours of
for
me,
Lucas de
all to
Vries, this is
yourself.
now a victory lap. They are one lap up on the class.
Nice.
And there is literally...
I'm looking forward.
I might even be right in saying I think there might even be nothing that can take
Yeah,
away
no,
this
that's
class
fine,
win
man.
from them here. Because any kind of disconnect would have them register as
Where did BRT
being
finish?
towed
Anyone know?
forward to the next lap. But
Good drive,
nevertheless, I
everyone.
don't think we want to be testing
Congrats
that
on
kind
all
of a thing
top
here.
3.
As into Arnage and over that curb for the final time.
Yeah,
It's
congrats
been
all,
there
buddy.
or thereabouts. Or at least it was when we were in the opening 6 hours of this race, I think, Jay. Didn't quite seem like that. Well, I think, yeah, just on the outliers, but they survived and clearly had the pace to run away from everyone behind them. And now, with just about a quarter of a lap, not even a quarter of a lap to go here at the Circuit
Yeah, I
de la
mean,
Sarre.
it's been a hard race. I feel like I've been more in
To be our
American
final
football
class
match or
winners.
maybe a rugby match.
One of the final
NFL.
part. They actually will be the
No,
last
yeah,
car to
you know.
finish the race, which means that they've technically
Hockey.
won the class by a lap, even though they weren't a lap
It's
ahead.
just
So
multi-class
one
racing,
of the
mate.
quirks of
GT3s always get
multi-class
punted
racing,
around by
they'll win
the
their class by a
prototype.
lap. Now, technically only won by about a minute, but
Yeah, I
still
know, I
always
know.
makes it
And
look
the
even better
funny
when
thing
you
is
put
that
out
they
your
don't
social media
they don't
posts
get
like
any
this,
damage
won the
either.
whole field, won the
GT3s
whole
are
class by
just
a
getting
lap.
meatballs every time.
Lucas de Vries brings it across the start finish line here at the Circuit de la Sarre.
Yeah, they're not as
Number
strong as
28
they used to be. They used to be tanks.
joins
They
the
do
honour
break
roll
these days, but
here. Oh,
Jet
Hutchins
Rouge
kept
was
at the Village
deadly,
car.
and so is Porsche.
As everyone's
But anyway,
already
we'll do that.
starting to burn
I'm going to
down their
bail. Thanks for the
rubber
race, guys.
and
Have a good one.
fuel.
Catch you next one.
And that finally, after 24 hours, will mean we come to the conclusion of the Majors 24. And just as we're about to go through the race results, good evening, Scott Rankin.
Scott Rankin's come to help us to finish the race off, as we've just literally finished the race off.
Mate, what a bang-up race. What a bang-up I'm exhausted.
So are we.
I drove all 24 hours myself. There was no breaks. I'm clearly 5 men in one. Yeah,
You talk as good as 5 men. So, Andre Reddington finishes the race off in the Not In Vain Racing Orange. What a story for those guys, coming literally from last on the grid, going almost a lap down, serving a drive-through penalty at the start of the race to win the race by 48 seconds. High Caliber Autosports Blue finished second in class. Penguin RC Simulation finished third. 2 laps down for Really Slow Motion Racing. BRT didn't finish the race in the end, but still classified in 5th position. Project Dynamic Academy 712, the last finisher, finishing 7 laps down. Then every other car in this class did not finish the race. The 588 ST Racing with DE, WS Racing Esports 7, Virtual Drivers by Simware, Project Alpha over the page to Wannabe SRT, RD Sim Sports, Satellite Racing, Fiercely Ford, Delta V Racing 111, Belarus Motorsports 37, Wizards LNDH, Fighter Engineering Esports, Ragnar Racing Red. Go through the LMP2s now.
I sure will. As Mads Jensen for Outson Motorsport brings the 36 home across the line. And despite the pressure from Samsung Kanani Sports on a splash and dash strategy and fresh tyres, they made it work beautifully. Zach Rattray White will have to settle for 2nd place here at the end of the Majors 24 and LMP2. Ollie Newcomb brings that Project Dynamic 710 machine home in 3rd and comfortably clear of the rest of the field. As you see there, the case of what almost could have been, perhaps with the Bright Esports number 30. Now, actually, I did get it. It's got a round. Did we miss a pass whilst we were worried about the LMP2s at the very front?
Probably.
I feel like we've missed a pass because the Bright Esports car, didn't it came out behind the Rocket Graphics 31. But I like the fact that 30 is ahead of 31. That makes my OCD brain quite happy. That rounds out your top 5 with the last 2 cars to finish on the lead lap being the Baptiste Ribot 77. Oh, sorry, no. Baptiste Ribot driving the number 77 for Valkyrie XP at 1:42 behind your class leader. Fred Illig in Team Villig finishes as your last car on the lead lap. And then the Hydra Race Geodesic Racing Vertex entry. David Duino brings it across the line a lap behind the leaders. Jer Vicky P9 for the Finnish Endurance Academy white car. Only 3 laps down, so good soldiering on there. And Elroy Van Milligan in JE Motorsport Team Blue, 6 laps short, but able to complete the race there, I do believe. And then the laps counts will start to tick up if we turn over the page. And we'll see here, in fact, bang, 10 finishes, and then into our retirements. Daniel Gray and the Motorsport Games staff car, number 95, 83 laps down and out. The second of the Project Dynamic cars in LMP2, retiring 103 laps shy of the finishing with Finn Adair's aboard there. No one out. Andres in the garage is French by Hyperion Esports car. Unfortunately, they did not finish the race. Yuya Tomoda in Scuderia Fermata, likewise, at 145 laps down. Ingus Racing, the car that championed the fuel-saving strat early on, was not able to make it there in the 92, unfortunately. Out early. Martin Statman, I think it's technically how I'd say that, but the Gazix Racing Team, 888, unfortunately, in the wars early on, and it seems to have come through pretty harshly for them. The 87 MV Skimlab DS Racing Machine, Samuel de Oliveira, will end the race there, 234 laps shy. And our final LMP2, our earliest retirement, was the 818 Race Tech Competition Machine. Blaze Undrich, 267 laps shy of the finish. And Scott Rankin leave you the GT3 class, and yeah, it doesn't quite look right based on what we were seeing during the race, but that's a more convincing finish indeed.
Yeah, indeed. Lucas De Vries is going to bring it home for our Ventus Racing as the class winner by what looks to be a lap, although that tells me that there's probably LMDH leaders in and amongst that one. Kamil Ujanik, Johan Martin Meyer for Becca, Ellen Win Arior, and Delta V Racing, respectively. Mach 1 Esports going to come home just outside of that podium. Thomas Freeman for Australian Wide Racing Brew in 5th place. Darren Love for Simrigs DPR 979. Thomas Data for Motorskiwi Racing Green. Mikolai Poniz II for Netrix Grand Prix Black. at 2 laps down, the first of the cars to be. So Jerome Charvet for Valkyrie Expo Bondul Racing at 3 laps down. And here we start to get into the cars multiple laps down with Stevie Amantitis, Blocco Motori at 5 laps off the lead. 11th place will be Beta Frost at 31 laps. Micah Gerrits for Project Dynamic Academy 713 for 49 laps down. Darren Parker at 92 laps down for Ascidian Edge Black. Jakub Urbanchik for Mag Performance SRT Junior White at 119. Mert Mendara's Team Shizou Mile, unfortunately, back at 141 laps down, and a couple of early retirements into that race with Jonathan Schwartz, Aerokinetics Red, and Robert Heffler for WS Racing Esports 70, both at 348 laps down. But I think the critical thing that we've got to talk about here at the end of the day is, let alone the Majors 24, it invokes this sense of just unique. It's got an aura to it. The series, it draws people in. It's a unique event. To make it to that finishing line for a couple of those teams is just a phenomenal effort right the way through. For the administration team, they handled just beneath 1,000 protests all night long, and they handled them with a reasonable turnaround time as well. Cannot say enough to everyone from the Aegis 24 team. It's a big event to put together. It's a tough event to put together, and the racing reflected that. Look at how many LMP2s were on that lead lap. Look at how many cars that were fighting for a position late in the piece. You don't get that anywhere else.
No, you certainly don't. And well, for many of the cars, it feels like it was definitely a rough one. It certainly comes and it goes in endurance racing. And to finish first, you have to finish. That concludes the Majors 24 for 2023 here. And speaking of the Majors series real quick, we'll be back in August for the next of the regular rounds of racing for the Pacific region, the Grand Prix of Long Beach, Saturday the 19th of August if you're in the US of A, or Sunday the 20th of August for those of us who will be joining from Australia. Times on screen: US Eastern Time, US Western Time? I think it's called Pacific Time.
Yeah, you're right, it is. But my brain wasn't working when I made the graphic.
Okay, there you go. So that's US Eastern, US Pacific, and Australian Eastern Standard Time. Lock in the dates. We'll be here on SimSpeed TV covering the Pacific region as always for 2023. And on behalf